Lois, how's it going?
Good.
Good. We're good.
Are you in Canada or the US?
I'm in the U.S., just outside of Phoenix, Arizona.
So does that mean you did Thanksgiving Day?
We did Thanksgiving dinner. It was non-traditional. As I was just saying before you arrived, we did breakfast for Thanksgiving. So
Oh, did you do it in the morning or at dinner time?
in the evening, this was dinner time for us. We still ate at our usual sort of.
Can you all hear the music or no?
No, no music.
Oh, yeah, there we go. That's me again. I knew that.
So we have wonderful neighbors who have a very large family, and they invited everybody for Thanksgiving at their house this year. So there was 19 people. And they said, "So Lois and Jim, you want to come and join us? You can make it 21." And I looked at Jim and he went, so we didn't want to deal with that many people. So we said, no, thank you. So she said, okay, we'll bring you over dinner. So they brought two big plates, one for him, one for me, with all of their Thanksgiving feast. It was very nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And way too much food. So we had it for dinner, and then I had it for breakfast, and then I'll have it for lunch.
Can you hear it now?
Faintly, yes.
Okay.
Testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and
Go a little more, Dave.
zooming in. We're testing
That's good.
it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming with a zing. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks. We'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with ease. So if your meetings lag, or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We've got your back, no wreck. We've got your
Husband's here with meters. Let me see. I'm at 16. Ooh, how about trying there? And now if I can, now I'm at 19. That's better.
Well, hi everyone. Lois, you can't do a sound check when there's music playing because it's listening to the music also. But yeah. Hi everyone. Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen. Let me turn off my original sound here now that we're done playing the song so that you all can hear me better. There we go. That should be a little better. And to those of you who are in the continental and beyond United States, happy Thanksgiving. Lovely to see all of you here. And to not see some of you here because you're with your families, and that's perfectly beautiful as well. Um, let's say hi. Oh, we've got some nice faces here. Let's say quick hellos. I can't tell if I'm spotlit, by the way. So Mike, I don't have my stuff here, so you're that's your department today. But Ray Harwood, good to see you, sir.
Thanks, David. Good to be here.
What's going on? Anything exciting?
There's always a couple of little things here and there, but I'm still working on my April nursing conference and that sort of thing. But
That's a big
yeah,
one, yeah.
yeah, it's going to be big, I hope.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And Hasmuk, how are you, sir? Good to see you.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you for coming in with some meters today. I appreciate it. Mr. Solution Man, how are you?
Good. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. And Mr. Idelson, a happy Thanksgiving to you, sir, out on the West Coast.
Very happy Thanksgiving here on the West Coast, and I'm recovering from eating more than I should have yesterday.
Yeah.
But I got to talk real cold turkey with some Zoom people here, so it worked out well.
There you go. Fantastic. That was truly the Zoom test kitchen in John
Yes.
Idelson's kitchen, right?
Well, it wasn't
Literally.
my kitchen, but it was
Oh,
my
okay.
son's kitchen.
Well, in Brendan's kitchen, quite literally, the
Yeah,
Zoom
literally. You got it.
test. Lois, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. How are you?
Well, Thanksgiving's over, so this is the day after Thanksgiving, and I'm thankful that I'm still here.
It is Black Friday indeed, with Zoom deals to go around for everyone who doesn't have a Zoom account, which is astonishing to me that people don't have a Zoom account. But there are many, many, many people who don't have. Frank, how are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing really, really well. And you did not have turkey last night because you had it a month ago, right? Was it a month ago?
That is correct.
Yeah. Well, we're glad that you're here. I did not get on Zoom once yesterday. Who did I miss? Did I miss
Mike.
someone?
Mike,
Oh, I don't even see Mike. Oh, there's Mike. Hey.
he's sneaking in.
Oh. Hi, Mike. How are you? You're muted.
Of course I am.
Of course.
Doing good. Of course I'm
Of
muted.
course I am.
Of course I am. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the
see you.
post Thanksgiving, and we're gonna shop on Black Friday day and
Is that
find some
what we're
deals.
doing?
Maybe I don't know. You're the one that made the thumbnail. I'm thinking, I'm bringing the Thanksgiving for all our American friends from us up here in Canada, but
There's some incredible camera buys. You name the brand. There's some really good. My wallet is beginning to, pull out of its pocket, leaping forward to some 20 and 40% discounts on some nice cameras.
Yes, this is the stretchy pants. This may be the no pants edition, Frank, since we're all sitting down. I mean, you never know. John, I'm intrigued by the tail AR from OBSBot, by that really nice, and they have great deals on that stuff now, but it's still very pricey. So I really don't need it. So.
And what is it again, David?
Need has nothing to do with it, David, but that's okay. It's called the Tail 2 by Ozbot, and it's a very
No,
nice.
the Tail Air is the one.
Excuse me, Air. Okay, well, there's Air Tall and the one of them has NDI, SDI, and
exactly.
and then the other. They're beautiful cameras. I have both of them have used them.
Yeah. So this is the tail air here. And you're absolutely right. It has a whole, I mean, it's a pretty serious camera. It's NDI built in. It's got a nice controller. Um, see if it'll show us around. I don't know. Yeah, okay. There's I'm trying to find the back with all the IO. Well, I'm not finding it
David,
here.
David, we're
Yeah.
having a problem seeing everything the way you got it set up right now.
Oh, what is with my face? What?
Well,
What?
I think it's trying to center your face
What?
and yeah.
No, what is, no, hold on. Wait, is it
You
wrong?
probably
Oh,
have auto centering on Zoom or possibly some software, and so it zooms
no,
out onto your face, and you're not seeing the whole screen. Is what we're the issue that we've had. I've had to solve this for some people when they do the auto
no, but wait a
centering in
second, but
Zoom.
why? No, this is actually, no, I know what the issue. No, what is the issue
You're
here?
using eCam something?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There
look
you
at
go.
that.
So
Look at
that's the
that.
Zoom auto centering
Yeah, so why is that doing that?
because you
That's
didn't
Zoom?
turn off the button in your settings, man.
No, but I never use that. So let's see. So I'm
A
gonna
lot
go
of things got
into,
turned on the last time I updated, and
yeah.
so
All right, so
it
I'm
could
going
be.
into my, see if this will work. All right, and so in video and effects, yeah, I have auto framing turned on. You know what's interesting about this is, so my wife was using, there's another computer in here, which is not the one I'm on now, but it uses the same monitors, it uses the same camera. I just unplugged my computer and plug hers in. And I turned it on that computer for her. I did not turn it on this computer. That's really interesting to me that it did that.
Is she logged in on both computers or are you logged
No,
in?
she has no access to my computer. That's why it's really strange. That's why I don't understand that. In any case, sorry. So this is the, oh, you were right. I'm sorry. It's the tail two. You were right. That's the one I was thinking of. Sorry. I apologize. I thought it was the tail air. The tail two is the one I'm really interested in. And it's a couple $100 off, which is a really good deal, but it's still it's a lot of money. In any case.
I have a question. If anyone knows about this,
Go for it.
does anyone know about this?
Oh, what are you holding up?
It's called mini camera, and they were not terribly expensive, and they're a little thing that you're supposed to be able to stick in the corner and make sure that you're safe and all that. So
Is there a brand name? Because I'm looking up mini camera, but I'm getting,
that's the entire brand name. In the back, it says mini spy camera will help you to, and then it has some little icons and says what it does. But I have not been able to find, I haven't been able to find how to get it to connect. No one has these, right? I'm getting blank looks. Never mind.
yeah. I've without a brand name, there's no way to look it up to find any information about it.
But it
So
doesn't have a brand name.
no, I
It's
understand. I'm just,
That's the box. That's what came.
where'd you get it from?
I bought it
Amazon?
online, and
But
it comes from
was it an
China.
Amazon purchase or
I don't think so.
no? Okay.
Does it have
Made in
a
made
universal
in
product code on it?
PRC. Uh,
See if it has a universal product code, a barcode, or a number.
no, it has a scan me if you want to buy more of these, and then it came with. Ooh, hold on,
Well, go ahead, do the scan me and tell us where it sent you.
but I don't want to buy any more of these. I
But
really
then
don't.
we'll know the brand name.
We
Lois,
want to know the brand name, and we could
The
do the
brand name.
FAQ.
Okay, so
took a screenshot of the box while you were holding it up and I tossed it into Perplexity and I said, "What's this?" It says, "This is the retail box for a generic mini camera, a small Wi-Fi enabled security spy camera. It typically connects to a phone app via Google Play or App Store for remote viewing and recording."
yep, and
Oh.
I tried finding on the App Store. It said it has the App Store written right there. But when I tried to find the app, there's no such thing.
Imagine if Jim Rockford had this technology.
Well, yeah, he'd never get anything done if he couldn't figure it out. Anyway, it also comes with this, which I assume is needed to be plugged in order for the camera to work, but
And yeah,
Just curious, what do you pay for that, Lois?
I'm not going to tell you.
Under $20?
I got 3 of them. It was under 100.
So Lois, the SD card is used for recording what's on that camera. So it's internally recorded. And
Okay.
possibly when you have the app, it may record it to the cloud. But typically they do an SD card in the cameras if you don't want to pay for a cloud subscription.
And then
It continuously records. So when you know you have an incident, you have to take it out of the camera or it will be erased.
take it out of the camera, and how do you read it?
I need a card reader.
Yeah.
What kind of computer do you have?
I've got an iMac.
You probably don't have the right slot, but you can just get a $3 dongle that plugs into USB-C.
Yeah, I think I made a mistake when I got these. I thought it was going to be really nice. I could put them in various places, see all the bird feeders, just switch from camera to camera and check on all the bird feeders. And it's not. It's not.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You give up too easy.
No, I've spent so long working on it. I'm not working on it today.
Do you have a cell phone?
I do.
So scan that picture. It should take you to the store. Download the app. Then it'll help you connect them to your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Plug the cards into the slots and follow the instructions.
Okay, scan me. QRFY.com. QRFY.com.
I'm going to guess that you have an Apple cell phone.
iPhone.
Yeah, so you need to go to the Apple Store.
Oops, the page could not be loaded. Please try again later.
Try in a little while. It's Black Friday. The servers are probably under stress.
QRFY, but at least I have a URL, qrfy.io. I'm going to write that down on here.
So while you're playing with that, I just found it's really not obvious on their website, but Zoom is running a 25% off for your first year of Zoom Workplace Pro annual. It ends on Sunday. So I just popped there's a Black Friday code of F2PORG. I don't know why. Social 25 is the code. I just popped it in our chat. Mike, I'm not, for whatever reason, I'm not able to type out to YouTube. I don't know why. Thank you. Or was that just me? Oh no, that was just me. Good. Jeff is here.
Yep, Jeff is sneaking in on YouTube. Jeff, if you want to join us, obviously,
Jeff, it's so
come
good
on
to have
in.
you here. Come on by.
And John Drinkwater and Tony Mobley, we haven't said hi to you folks yet. Good morning.
Tony is here in the meeting, isn't he?
Yes,
Hey, Tony.
that's why I was saying hi to
John. Hey, John.
Greetings.
Yeah, so if anyone's looking for a Zoom Pro account, 25% off. Not a bad deal.
Well, now here's the question. Is that only for new people, or can I get a 20% off my annual subscription?
You know, it's interesting you asked that. So Ecamm, I'm one of the moderators over at Ecamm, and they're running a 40% off for new customers. And the existing customers, they all get like huffy and puffy about that. Why are you know, they don't seem to understand that this is a business and these folks are trying to make money and get new customers. So yeah, it's for new customers. It's not for existing
So if
customers.
I just quit and join again, well, that'd be a new customer.
You'd probably have to jump through some hoops. You'd probably have to use a new email address.
Yeah, I got 20.
If you have a deep-seated need to rip off Zoom for the 25%, then you
See,
could
I don't see
absolutely do
that
that.
as a rip-off. I think I see that as a discrimination on their part. The people who've been with them for 5 years, yeah, who cares? We don't do anything about them. But oh, somebody new? Okay, we'll give them a discount.
No,
I don't see that.
yeah, I don't see it that way. I mean, what they do for us is they give us the product that we're paying for, that we
Right, but other people aren't
and
having to pay what we pay.
For the
well,
first year.
the
For the
first year
first
they
year,
will
it's an
eventually,
enticement. It's an
right?
enticement to get them on board. And
I mean,
so,
I understand. I get it.
this is common, pretty, I don't know, seems pretty. If you bought something on Wednesday at the store,
Mhm.
and then you go back to the store on Friday, they're not going to give you the
And it's on
difference because
sale.
it's
Of course
cheaper
they are.
today, right? I mean,
Yeah, of
that's
course they are. Yes, they are. I've done that. I've bought something and the next day it went on sale and I went back and said, I just bought it yesterday. Can I get the real price? And oh, sure.
okay.
I live in a different world than you do, I think.
I haven't had that experience, but maybe I don't haggle well enough. I don't know.
there are places that if you bought a thing at its normal price, and then it goes on sale within a certain amount of time, they have a policy that if you'll bring your ticket in, we will refund you the money. But in this particular case, it's a discount with specific exclusions. It's for new people only. And if you were to say to Zoom, if you could get a hold of Zoom and go, look, I didn't have any account before and I bought this before I knew about the code. Could you please apply the code? You might be able to get Zoom to do that. I don't think you'll ever get Zoom to do that, but
But
you know,
if it was a day or two before the sale went on sale, I don't think that they would do that for a year ago.
no.
And that's reasonable. Well, let's stop talking about this and talk to other people. John says that we are now the Zoom test pigeon. What is that all about, John? You don't like us anymore?
It's for the birds, Lois. It's for the birds.
It's for the what?
For the birds, it's a saying.
Birds.
It's for the birds. You don't know that saying?
It's for the birds. I know that saying, but Zoom test pigeon?
Well, it's the only bird I could think of that sounded like kitchen.
Just roll with it. Just go with it.
Ignore
Lois.
it. I'll just ignore it.
Just go.
Zoom test turkey was already taken by somebody else, maybe.
The Zoom test turkey.
Now that would be turkey test kitchen. That would be different.
I have a question. Because I experienced this at the beginning of the meeting today. Does anyone know if there is a rhyme or reason to what settings stick from update to update versus what settings might change? I mean, clearly, well, maybe I shouldn't say clearly. It seems to me that I never use the tracking feature, the follow me feature in Zoom, and yet I must have updated the app recently and that got turned on. Is there a rhyme or reason to when or how that happens? Does anyone know?
There is, but it's not explained to anybody.
Oh,
I would agree with that.
If you,
There's probably some issues behind the scenes that Zoom doesn't want to acknowledge, that they're trying to clear out the cache or something.
oh, interesting. Okay.
so for instance, if you create a background image on Zoom.us, if you then launch your app, you will notice that within about 2 seconds it updates and that background image suddenly appears on your machine. It's downloaded. So there is definitely a process when you connect where Zoom takes data that's on the main server and pulls it down onto your machine. But exactly which settings it pulls down and which settings it leaves locally, there's nothing defined anywhere, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Not that I've found so far. And I've been looking for that for forever as well. Like Ray, I scan those for those particular features. And Ray, you look very handsome in your community t-shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Just thought I'd mention that.
Zoom community team. Most of us have the new Zoom community T-shirts. Mike's is still en route.
Yeah,
but,
it's on its way.
Yeah, yeah. David, I'll add one other thing, and kind of being from a software development background on occasion, not through my entire career, but a lot. Um, Sometimes when a feature is changed substantially on the back end, the API for it and how it actually works, and possibly the internal name of the actual feature setting is changed. In that particular case, it will always default to whatever they've got the default set to, and the old version that might be lying around in your cache until you delete it still says the other thing, but the software is no longer looking for that particular name. It's looking for this new name, which has additional feature and functionality. That doesn't happen too often, but I know that it does happen on occasion.
And I would expect that anytime a new thing is added, it might be turned on until you turn it off. I mean, if it's something that I'm not talking about this one, but some things have come up that, well, I didn't know that existed, but there it is, and it's on. Oh, wow.
Right.
And
It's
normally
always
the release notes, when they announce a new feature, the release notes will say this defaults to enabled or defaults to disabled or defaults to disabled at the admin level, and it has to be turned on by your admin in order to even use it, that sort of thing.
Defaulted off is my preferred approach, especially for enterprise.
defaulted off is always yeah.
I've had some tickets with Zoom about that where they've turned things on by default, and I always wonder if there's an internal battle between marketing and the operations people, because it seems like they're trying to get certain features out in front of the public, and it creates havoc when you haven't, as an admin, vetted a new tool and decided if it's proper for your organization to release it to everyone. So they have done some reversals on that in the past.
Frank, can they have different policies for different plan types? So could they say for pro plans and or business plans, it's on by default, but for enterprise and EDU plans, it's off?
There's distinctions. They also have, at least in enterprise, I don't ever use the normal generic Zoom. There's something called feature release that shows me all of the things with a countdown timer, and I've got it set to 90 days out before they auto enable, and it gives me 90 days to evaluate them or turn them off. But there still seems to be a few product changes that don't always fall into that particular tool.
Interesting. This was not the tracking. This is not a new feature. It's been out now for, I want to say, since six maybe since 6.6. And I don't remember if it's turned on by default. I think it might be, though.
Do you mind if I screen share for a second?
No, please.
Okay, I just want to obscure something here. No. Anyways, screen sharing. So, just feature release controls is what I'm talking about. So down here it tells me the release date, the feature. If I hover over it, it'll tell you a bit more about it. It'll take you to the settings. So like this particular one, animated emojis, is going to auto enable in 12 days if I don't stop it. But at least I have 90 days usually to evaluate something. So I was happy that Zoom implemented that, because for large organizations, it's a pain when new features turn on and you have no awareness of it. On a Monday morning, people are asking you all about this feature and how it works. And you're like, how did that get out of the bag? I didn't want that out of the bag.
Hey, Frank, on your what? I'm on.
No, he was talking to me.
Dave
I'm
was
sorry.
talking.
David, sorry, David.
No, just a quick question. By way of example, the animated emojis, I believe that's already out for most people.
I've delayed it.
Oh, so you okay? So that was
days so far. I've delayed it.
Okay, so that you made a choice to not have a gotcha.
I have a feeling it'll be distracting to the sort of things we do. If
right,
there's in some organizations, I don't know. Imagine you had a funeral home business or something. Would you want animated emojis? Maybe not.
Right.
Like it just it may not be appropriate for all kinds of things. Or
Yeah. Sorry, Lois.
One of the things that was on your page when you showed it to us was smart name. What is that?
smart name tags. That came from Zoom rooms, and basically, smart name tags. If Zoom knows who you are, it can basically put a name tag. Especially in Zoom rooms, what happens is quite often there's only one video camera for a group of people. But if it knows who you are, it could identify you and put like a lower third below you, and that's going to be coming to more of the product over probably the next quarter. There'll be more things like recordings and things that'll be able to take advantage of. Zoom knows who you are because you're logged in, so it'll be able to tag you with.
Well, that's interesting. If you're in a room with a bunch of people and there's only one camera, how does it know who all those people are? I mean, I'm not logging into Zoom. I'm just sitting in a chair.
I'll put the release notes for that in the chat if you want to read about it. It's kind of a long topic to discuss.
Okay, thank you.
And it's predominantly a corporate feature at this time, which is why you wouldn't have seen much about it, Lois.
It was a what, John?
It's a corporate type feature at the moment, which is why
I'm
you
not
don't see much
corporate.
of it.
Okay,
But
thank
if you identify the first the names of the the first couple people that are speaking, or each person as they speak the first time, then AI can take over and do the rest of it. That's how the recording on the app is supposed to work also.
Ignore that first link. I didn't copy properly. I'll repaste the proper link.
Thank you so much.
So basically what it says is Zoom Smart Name Tags allows you to apply name tags to people in a Zoom Rooms meeting. This enhancement helps make meetings more productive and inclusive by making it easier for other participants to know who is in the room. Both automatic and manual smart name tags can be edited for a meeting via the Zoom Rooms controller.
Cool.
And if you really want to know how Zoom... Oh, sorry. Ray?
Sorry, I think we talked a little bit about this. I don't know, it's been a couple of weeks when the feature came out that you could actually record something and allow it to use that sort of as your voice print, and that it could recognize that whenever you were in a Zoom room area and go, oh, I know that voice, that belongs to this person, and you have to opt in for that. So
that's cool.
You have to opt in too through your Zoom account. You have to say, I'm willing to be tagged. It's usually how it works. It also, I think, uses reference photos for some of it.
Oh, you upload a photo or reference photo? That's interesting.
Well, it's if you're in a Zoom meeting, it knows. I mean, it sees my face.
When automatic smart tags are enabled and users enroll and consent through their Zoom account to use this feature, the Zoom room will compare the video of in-meeting participants in the Zoom room against the reference photos of enrolled users who are on the meeting invitation or paired in the Zoom room. The video data from the Zoom room is only processed locally on the equipment in the Zoom room. All video data from the participants in the Zoom room and from the reference photos used for the Smart Name Tags feature are deleted from the equipment in the Zoom room when the meeting ends.
Interesting.
Are you aware of Smart Director?
I've heard of it.
All right, so it's another corporate Zoom room kind of feature where, let's say you have, do you know what region of interest is in a video when you've got, let's say, a 4K video and you only use 1080 of it? It's sort of how they do electronic panning, tilting, and zooming. Zoom Smart Director, let's say it's got a shot of 4 people in a group sitting, let's say, auditorium style, so 2 people behind and 2 off to the side or something. It can crop the picture so it looks and give you a single, even though there's only one camera, and then it can go back to the wider shot. So with the smart name tags and all this smart directing and stuff, it kind of makes it look like you have a switcher and that someone's cutting to people and putting their lower third up.
Interestingly, the intelligent director says that you need to have 2 or 3 cameras.
Yeah, I think that's true, but I think there's some things I haven't used it, but I think there's some region of interest stuff it can do too, depending on your hardware.
No, I think it does that also.
Yeah.
I just it's interesting that I think they're saying that because they want the experience to be at a certain quality, and the experience just won't be at that quality if
Sure.
you're only
I
having one
used to do
camera.
video conferencing as part of my job, and we usually had at least 2 or 3 cameras in most of our Zoom room or our video conferencing rooms. But imagine you only had the one camera. Then doing this region of interest is a cheap sort of substitute for not having multiple camera
Right,
angles.
right. Each camera should be zoomed in as much as possible, still retain view of the area that needs to be covered. Um,
I
oh, and
should
then
rename
here,
this to the Zoom Rabbit Hole edition, Zoom Test Kitchen Rabbit Hole.
yeah. 2 or 3 intelligent director cameras can be used with one additional standalone camera. So the what they're calling intelligent director cameras need to be, it looks like they need to be PTZ cameras.
Yeah, usually in a video conference facility they are. We
Yeah.
used to use Polycom Eagle Eyes, but there's lots of other
But
hardware out there
again,
now.
what's interesting to me about that is that almost negates the need for the whole regions of interest thing. Like the owl camera, right? What made the owl camera smart when it came out is that it had this 360 camera on top, and then it just identified the area, the regions of interest, and then it would crop to that because it was only one camera.
I think Lois got her bird camera working.
I have only one camera, and I can just remember where it's supposed to be and click back and forth from it.
Is that
I-
the OBSBot or the
Insta 360
yeah,
link.
the instant, right? So that's
That's a
that's what
manual
that's a PTZ.
moving.
That's what
Yeah.
they're talking about here.
But it sounds like they're going to you set your presets, and then they're going to control when they switch by who's talking. So that's
In
what it
a
sounds
corporate
like.
room, there's lots of ways to do it. You
Yeah.
can have it triggered by the microphone triangulation. You can have presets. You can just have the camera be smart and figure it out. There's a lot of different ways it can be set up.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm a little frustrated with this Link 360 because I haven't figured out how to keep the presets from one time I turn on the controller to the next. They don't hold. I can get this presets and I can do whatever I'm going to do until I turn that program off. But then when I turn it on, there's no presets. So a little
So for the cameras like the Link and the Ozbots, to me the weakest part is the hardware is great, and then the software so-so.
Yeah.
Then something like BitFocus Companion or something can really extend the functionality of something like that a lot more.
But what's interesting to me about the Link is that unlike the Owl, it can spin and rotate and move, and so you're actually getting, I think, a higher quality
Yep.
image
Yep.
than just cropping in.
And then there's this one, which is a Wyze, WYZE, which I have not been able to figure out how to make it work. I think I have a problem. I think it's
Wyze, if I remember correctly, is a home automation.
Yeah, they're pretty
smart home security
they're
cameras
pretty
and
well
devices.
regarded too.
Yes.
So right
Yeah.
now I'm on an ePTZ camera, and I also have a PTZ camera beside it. But
What is E, Frank?
that's where it's doing region of interest. So this is a 4K shot. Nothing's moving. There's no mechanical movement. It's all happening electronically. Whereas my other one would actually be giving us actual mechanical movement of the
Right.
camera. So I mean,
Do you mind if I ask what the models are that you're using? Just curious.
that's a Huddle Cam, and then I've got a Ozbot Tiny 4K.
Oh, okay.
And the E that you're referencing, David, was electronic PTZ.
Oh, PTZ. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's electronically done PTZ, which
It,
is actually in
it's cropping
theory
within a 4K frame, right? Yeah.
correct. It's basically digital zoom. It's
Right,
just a
right,
funky
right.
term for it.
Zooming in the
Gotcha.
sensor, basically.
Yeah. Gotcha. Huddle cams are used in a lot of rooms also, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their main market.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In Zoom rooms? Oh,
Is video conferencing rooms, yes.
right.
Yeah, I mean,
Compared to
Teams,
their
WebEx.
other company that everybody else knows, which is PTZ Optics. They're both the same
Wait,
under
wait,
the
wait.
same parent company.
Oh, I didn't know HuddleCam was part of PTZ Optics.
HuddleCam was the original company. Then PTZ Optics was born.
That's interesting to me. PTZ Optics has what seems to be higher quality stuff. No, I mean,
Correct.
like HuddleCam is all it looks like it's all USB.
Correct. Again, that
PT
is the market for a lot of the
Right.
conference rooms is USB based stuff where the PTZ Optic stuff is getting into your NDIs, your
Right.
SDIs,
That's fancier,
your
PTZ Optics. Yeah.
yes, and it's also double, if not triple the cost.
Right,
but,
right.
But for a corporate room, it's not considered a super high end.
It's not needed either, because right?
Well, it depends. What you do in your house and what you do in a corporate facility is a lot different. Like your living room's probably not 100 feet long, so like how long of a zoom do you need?
Right.
How's the lighting? Like there's so many. How good of a shot do you want? Do you want bokeh in your shot or not?
Yeah.
Like a lot of considerations that if you've got your president of your company on stage and you can't have a cameraman running around because they don't like that aesthetic, but you still want professional quality videography happening, then you might use PTZ, but then you're going to want a really high-end PTZ
That has
can
the
do
zoom.
bokeh and everything else. So yeah, not just the zoom, but also the bokeh, right?
My incredibly limited experience with PTZs is that a lot of things can pan and tilt, but the zoom is where you really need that. That's where like lens and optics come in. It's not just a
Correct.
mechanical movement.
So
Correct.
I've set up PTZs at concerts and stuff, and also we've set up 360 cameras in the crowd that we can't get to, and we operate them remotely, right? So I mean, it just depends what aesthetic you're looking for from a television production point of view as well, right?
Right.
Yeah, when it comes to what you're saying, David, which is coming to the optical zoom versus digital zoom, which is very important, especially in the broadcast world, is that you don't really want to use digital zoom unless you really, really have to.
Right.
So that's Frank, you're agreeing with me, right, or not? Or you were saying no? Yeah, you were agreeing with me.
I'm
Yeah,
agreeing
about
that you
digital.
don't want to use digital if you like.
Yeah,
Usually, you measure like a camera. It might say it's got 30 times zoom, and then 10 of that's optical, and the rest is digital. And then I just go, "Oh, it's got 10 times zoom. The rest I don't."
Right.
Like a really horrible situation, I might sneak into 12 if I had no choice, but it'll always make it blockier looking and crappy looking and grainier looking, and if it's something that's professional level quality, you don't want to be doing that. You want to buy a camera that has enough optical zoom to do the job.
right. So again, for a normal, and I'll say normal boardroom size, needing more than a 12x optical zoom is you're paying more money for no reason. But again, if you're in the back of a church, then you probably need a 30x zoom, depending on how
Right.
large the building is. And then you would actually want to have your closer PTZs to be 220s.
Yeah,
you'd have
there's
a 20 on one side, 20 on
a
the other.
lot comes into effect though. Like the vibration of the building, almost all buildings have vibration. You go in 30 times zoom, even if it's optical, and now you start to see the picture shake. So I mean, there's a lot of isolation and what materials is it fastened to, and is it suspended in a way that the building's vibration doesn't transfer to the zoom. So I mean, you're starting to get into a lot of considerations where you need people who are integrators who really understand that stuff. That's why designing a corporate room is so expensive compared to just setting up even high-end stuff in your house, right?
We
And I
had.
guess-
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lois.
I guess the who's going to be seeing and what are they going to be looking at and why do they need to see it becomes really important when you're making those decisions. So if I have, let's say I have 3 bird cams and it's zoomed in digitally so I can actually see what the bird, but it's not a good quality. It's not something I would take a portrait of a bird with, but it's good enough to identify what it is. What was there? When was it there? How many of them were? And so for that purpose, digital zoom, so what? But if it was something, if I was trying to take bird photos, well, I wouldn't be doing it with the digital zoom.
So, as time progresses, like computational photography and computational videography, the algorithms are cleaning out, like on your iPhone, when you zoom in past the optical limit and it looks halfway okay, it's because of the computational photography that's sort of cleaning it up. You're not really seeing the real thing, you're seeing what it decided you should see. But I mean, it depends. Do you need a professional solution for an amateur pursuit? No, like you spend the budget that's appropriate for the task of what you're doing, unless it's your passion or something and you just want to be part of something, right?
So let me see if I can show this to you. Yeah. Um, Give me a second. I need to log in here. See if I can get this to work. Image editing. Here we go. Okay. So this isn't, I'm going off tangent, but you made me think of it, Frank, when you were talking about the computational work that phones are doing. The first thing I thought of actually is how brilliant the design in the newer iPhones is of creating a larger optical zoom by like folding the lens or the mirrors. They did something with right how it's like folded, which is brilliant. But when you said that the our phones and our computers are able to sort of decide for us what the image should look like. So this past weekend, my eldest daughter got engaged, and so I have this picture of my 3 girls. She's in the middle, and I love this picture, but I didn't want my youngest her phone. You see how she's holding the phone. I want to get rid of that phone. And so I, of course, went into Gemini and I asked it to take the phone out. And it decided on its own that her hand should be on her waist, which just really kind of blew my mind that we went from this where it could have just left her hand right there, but it made I don't want to say it made a decision. I'm not sure it made a decision, but in my mind at least, it made a decision of what the image should look like. And that's the first thing I thought of when you were talking about how these devices are making these choices was that it made a choice about what it thought the picture should look like, which wasn't actually the way it looked
And
at all.
David,
And it
if
not
you
only
notice
moved
too,
her
it actually
hand,
kept her necklace around her bracelet too.
Yes, the black bracelet. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
and it not only moved her hand, but the entire position of the arm. That's pretty cool.
Oh my goodness. I didn't notice that. You're right. Yes. Wow. Okay, wait, you can bring me back up again. I'm sorry, I didn't notice that. You're right. In order for her hand to be on her hip, it had to move her entire arm back. Huh. I didn't
And
notice
so,
that.
David, in doing that, there's that triangle on the inside of her elbow, which
Yeah,
was previously obscured, and it had to figure out how
it
does it
filled in.
look back there based on the
Look at
rest of the
that.
picture.
I didn't even think about that piece of it. That's crazy. Yeah,
But
that's
the new picture, the arm does not look accurate.
no.
No, from the shoulder to the elbow to the wrist, it does not look, it
I
does not
think
look normal.
I think you might be right about that. I think if you focus, if you know that it was changed and you focused on that, then yes. I think if you didn't know that, I don't think you'd see anything
If
there.
you're focusing on the ring, you don't see that.
Right.
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 Exactly.
And if you
Um,
weren't a photographer or an artist of some
right.
sort, you probably wouldn't notice.
Right. But in any case, not to focus on that picture. Again, it just made me think of when digital zooming is your phone, or the phones in our pockets are deciding what the image should look like based on all the information that it has, which is really
Well,
it's
this
pretty
was an
amazing.
after the fact request from you.
Yes.
I think what I heard Frank saying was that your phone will try to sharpen bits and make it so it looks like your zoom is better than it actually was when it was taking, but not that it's getting a request from you to remove something from the picture.
Oh no. That's exactly what he was saying. But it is doing computational work to make the picture look better than it actually looks with the lens that you have available and the zoom that you have available to you.
So, doing genealogy work, there are a number of programs out there now where you can take an old photo, which is a little bit fuzzy, and the program will look at it and then try and decide what those eyes would have looked like if they were sharp. And sometimes they get them right, and sometimes they get them wrong. They always get them human looking, but it might not look like your grandma.
Yeah. It's and I will say to your comment about the arm looking a little unnatural, when AI does get it wrong, or not even AI, when computation does get it wrong, it's really like when I look back at the AI avatar that I created with even forget that even I created my own voice using 11 Labs, which is really solid AI voice. Uh, um, I don't want to call it an app. It's not just an app, but a tool. And it's not 100% yet. It's just not, even though that's one of the best models out there. When things are not natural, you can tell.
Are we ready to move on to something else? I have a question.
I was born ready.
Yes, I know. And it's only the day after Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
Um, okay, as you all probably know, I do a radio show. And so I have interviews with people. I do it on Zoom and then extract the audio and turn it into a radio show. That's no problem, and I can edit the audio and all that good stuff. When I was having interviews where the volume levels of the two people were significantly different, and I was trying to figure out how best to adjust that. And John Edelson, suggested that I use something called Levelator, where you dump a file on top of it. It has to be in a certain format, and then it levels the audio so that when you're done, you have things that are, about the same instead of being like this. And I would like to figure out whether that is as good or better or worse than doing the manual adjustment. And by that, I mean, when I record Zoom, I get two separate recordings for my voice and their voice separate. So now I have these two separate tracks. I can look. Now, if this one is lower and this one's higher, I can adjust them before I merge them and do that. So that's what I had been doing. And now I've got this levelator thing that I take the combined one and I drop it on. So I'm hoping that someone here will be nice and will record with me so I can get a recording that is intentionally high and low, and then record that, just take that snippet and try it both ways and compare it at the end. So is there anyone who would like to allow me to record and then talk for just a bit? Hey, John.
I'm not available to record But let me explain Levelator a little bit differently. Levelator was designed for the early podcasters where people were the interviewee and interviewer, and people don't hear the level of their own voice when they're on a call. So it was a very quick way for being able to do automatically bouncing. And there are some audio plugins that do it. What made Levelator so special is that probably the best way to describe it is he turned the images into sound. And just like in the picture that Dave showed before, it could sort of figure out what was behind it. So what Levelator did is came up with a mask of the room noise, a voice print of the louder voice, the voice print of the softer voice, and in a batch process did the auto gain control. So it's a post production designed specifically to reduce room noise and make sure the gain or the volume or perceived volume is the same in each of those. Now, that was given away for free. The gentleman who does that has a thing called, I think it's Hear Me or Hear Now, which is helping people use phones and hearing aids or phones as hearing aids. So the other model you talked about is a good idea. You have two separate audio tracks, and you could, in fact, control the gain on it just by doing levels up and down. But the difference between Levelator and that is Levelator is a batch process. You drop the file, and at the end it's done. Where the other one is going to take you the real time to actually produce it.
Mm-hmm.
Lois, what software do you use for your audio editing?
Amadeus. I have tried Audacity, which is what most people use, but I prefer Amadeus. I'm comfortable with it. I've used it for years. It's easy. It's intuitive. I like it.
I'm just wondering if there is some sort of, and I'll use this terminology loosely, not knowing the software, saying, is there a plugin that could, in the terminology I want to use, which is different in different software, is called normalize.
Mm-hmm. It has a normalizing function in it, but I don't like the sound that comes out after you've normalized it, because when it normalizes, it doesn't sound quite as human.
Fair.
Do you want to describe for people what normalizing is? Because I'm sure I would mess up the description.
Sure. So basically what it does, and again, I'll do it at a very high level, and Frank, you can help me if I'm goof up on this, but basically the scenario is that, as Frank laughing at me in the meeting room here, basically it takes an average of the entire audio file, and it will say, okay, takes all the peaks and valleys, and it basically goes, okay, this is where everything should be at mathematically. And then it brings it up there. Now, what Lois is talking about is that it can become unhuman. And again, Fred, you're probably watching too, so I'll look for your assistance on YouTube as well. But basically, it'll become unhuman-like because of the fact that it's mathematically calculating as compared to actually, where AI would actually be better at this, because AI would then take all the peaks and valleys at it and logically, not only mathematically, take into consideration the audio levels. How did I do, Frank? Did I do okay? Oh, Frank disappeared, so I'm going to think. Oh, I got a thumbs up. All right, so at the high level, that's basically the scenario. Is that there is more to it than that, but unless you're into, we're not going to be a Zoom test kitchen anymore. Go ahead, Lois.
So when I'm in Amadeus and I have this person, and there's peaks and valleys on each one of them. If I just merge the two and I have one thing and then I normalize it, it's not distinguishing between this is the lower speaking person and this is the louder person. And so the normalizing of it is weird. Now, if it was just one person talking and I normalized that speech, then my leaning into the microphone and leaning back would be leveled out and it would probably sound okay. But that's not this situation.
Right. So a suggestion would be what you just said is that you know how to normalize. If you were just recording yourself, you know how to normalize yourself. What I would do as an extra step is bring that lower person in by themselves, normalize it, then save it as a new file, then bring your both in, then combine yourself.
So normalizing, to my mind, is if one track, I'll call it, has extra highs and extra lows, and you want to make them more towards the middle. But that's not the situation. So what I'm doing, and that's why I want to do this little test, is I've got the high person, the low person. In the audio system, I increase the lower person so that they're matching. I mean, we still have highs and lows, but the middle parts are matching. And then I combine them so that it's all one file. So, is there anyone who would allow me to record and talk with me for a few seconds and let me test that out?
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay.
I guess I'm a little confused as to what you're looking for because any DAW, as you know, can do what you're looking for. So are you just looking for an easier way to get that done?
I'm wanting to compare what I do manually with what
With the
Levelator
Levelator.
does
Gotcha.
automatically. Levelator is much easier, but
Right. And
I don't
just so
know
people
if
know,
the quality is as good.
right. So Levelator was, as John said, it was back in like 205, was used widely by podcasters. It was then not discarded, but they ended supporting it. And then back in 2020, they just put it out sort of as a free project. So I don't know if it's actually getting support at this point, but yeah, you feel free to go ahead
Okay.
and do a little recording.
I'm sending a request to be allowed to record.
And I am approving that request to allow to record.
Okay, so I'm going to put my microphone close to me so that I'm overly loud. And if one of you would be so kind as to put your microphone a little away from you so you're less loud. And I'm talking now. Somebody else talk, please.
My microphone is pretty far away from me. It's way over there. So.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll stop recording and I'll figure it out later. Wait a minute.
That was so easy.
Oh, no. I got permission, but I didn't do it. Now
Oh,
I'm recording
no.
our test. So I'm speaking and I'm loud. David?
And I'm speaking and I'm not very loud. This is like on Sesame Street. Loud, soft.
Loud, soft. Okay. And I'll stop recording now. Thank you very much.
All
And
right.
thank you, everybody else, for allowing us to take that digression.
Sure. Did anyone think that we're ever going to get some better audio tools in Zoom? Like
Made by Zoom or made by a Zoom developer?
no, made by Zoom. Like I don't know, like
What's wrong with the Zoom audio? I think it's fine.
just like for example, here, let me pull it up so we can actually take a look.
There's Frank.
Here's let me just share this real quick. So here is what we have now, right? This is what we can see now when someone's.
Can you spotlight that, please?
Yeah, I don't know. Thank you.
There we
It didn't
go.
work. Okay. So you can see this is what we've got right now. I would love to just put some numbers on here, maybe show me the LUFs. I don't know. Frank, what do you think?
Hello. So let me put my hand down. I think, excuse me, it's the same thing we've talked about many times. There's a lot of different users for Zoom. They would have to hide it behind some sort of options in the back end. But I would argue that we're getting new Zoom tools all the time. We just don't know about them. The way the server analyzes your audio, automatically adjusts it for you. There's engineers deciding on those codecs and stuff behind the scenes that you'll never be involved in. if you want more granular controls exposed at the user level, I think that would scare a lot of users. So Zoom has a balancing act, unless they want to start giving us branching options in the back end where expose these things to me but not to other people. So from a sales perspective or marketing, do you want to scare away all the neophyte low end users, or
Right.
so I don't know.
Well, that's always a balancing act. We've talked a lot about having a dumb button or a simple button, right? That people could just use the simple version. But you did bring up a really important point, which Zoom really does not get enough credit for. I remember back in during the pandemic when we were all really learning to use these tools. Um, at least in my circle, my Ecamm circle, everyone wanted to know, how do I turn off Zoom's audio processing, right? How do I just get to, excuse me, what do they call it now? Original sound, original audio, whatever they call it, right? Because they wanted to be able to play sound effects and music and stuff like that. And that's all great. That's wonderful. But what people don't realize is that when Zoom's audio processing is not just getting rid of air conditioning noise, it's also boosting the level of your existing microphone. It's accommodating for things that, and you don't even know that it's doing that. So when I jump onto a call and I have original sound on, because I have external monitor meters, I come in much lower than when I have Zoom's audio processing
It's
enabled.
also doing things like in frequency ranges that have to do with human speech and intelligibility,
Right.
which may be artificial, but it's helping the experience, right?
I agree 100%. Yeah. Sorry, John, go ahead.
I'm on my phone, which I normally don't do. Yeah, Dave, I would phrase it differently because you said, when is Zoom going to give us more audio controls? Zoom has the most audio controls, and if you use the APIs and do Zoom for broadcasts, it's amazing the amount of audio controls. So when I think that you could use Zoom and have it set so if you have music in the background, it doesn't play. But you can also set Zoom so if you're playing with musicians, you get the closer sync. So I think the level of audio control that Zoom has, and as it was stated, what do you expose? So even in Zoom for broadcast, there are video switchers and other services that are even providing greater control over the audio within their production because Zoom has made those APIs for their audio open. So, you started by saying you wish Zoom would be better. I think it's one of the best, but I'm prejudiced. And I also have a little baby in the background to stop me.
I agree with you 100%. I guess maybe I phrased it incorrectly, John. Maybe I'm not looking for more controls. Maybe what I'm looking for is more clarity. So again, if we just look at, whoops, sorry. If we just look at, oh no, come on. I want you to go, here we go. If we just look at what we're given, right? So in our meters, this is great. I can tell when it's not loud enough. If I go very quietly, it'll be in the yellow or red. And then as I get louder, it goes up. But if I'm trying to work with another person and we want to try and levelate, as it were, our volumes in real time, it's just very hard. It would be helpful to me to have a 0 point on here somewhere, or even if they don't use official LUFs, to just somehow
They do.
give a little more clarity to what, instead of saying how many bars are you? I don't know that's
David,
what I was
if
thinking.
you go to the blue line below that and you grab the circle and drag it, I think you'll see percentages. So you can put it to whatever percent you are on, and then when you go to another meeting, it's a different thing. And then when you come back to recording the next time, you go, okay, we were at 59%. I'll put it back there. So that is something that was recently added, those percentage numbers, and I find them quite useful.
Right.
I'm
So
going
you
to take
can,
issue with that big time. From a professional audio point of view, a percentage of what means nothing to me if I don't know like some reference number. I mean,
But it's internal to itself. So
but
even if I'm just
every
coming back
recording
to the same thing.
Every week can be different. Like you can sit in the same chair and move your microphone 3 inches away and change all the acoustic dynamic properties. If you're gonna get fussy about it, I think what Zoom's trying to do is say most people don't know about this. They don't know how to do this. We'll take care of it for you, and you'll have a good experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, but well, there's more to say about the input volume, but I'll stop there.
It's like our phones. Like how many people actually know how to take a photograph with an SLR camera anymore?
Right.
The older generation might, the younger generation probably doesn't, except for people who have an interest in that. So our iPhones take these beautiful pictures, or our Galaxies or whatever, they take beautiful pictures, and most of us don't know how. How many of you actually stop and take your phone and actually do the manual settings for every part of the exposure, the focus? Zoom's trying to protect users who have no idea how to do any of this so that they can have a good experience. I mean, for people like you, David, I think you can shape your audio so much before it ever gets into your computer because you've got a specific kind of microphone, a setup. You've probably got a mixer. I mean, you've already shaped your audio so much before it even gets into the Zoom meeting.
Right. What I'm thinking about is that 9 times out of 10, well, not 9 times out of 10, much of the time, I'm in a meeting with other people who don't have that stuff. And so I just want to be able to help them offer the best experience as well. And so one of the things that I would love to be able to say to them is, hey, if you click here, you'll be able to see, and you and I can both look at the same measurement of our voices, and we can try and, that's all I was getting at.
Maybe Zoom will have meters at some point. You can turn them off or on, and they'll be common meters, and we won't have to bring in WFM or.
Yeah, I guess that's all I was thinking about. Yeah.
What I'd like to have is the ability for the meeting host to be able to tweak the relative volume of one particular participant. I've got 5 people talking and one of them is just not loud enough. I'd like to be able to go in and go, dear Zoom, when you get the audio from this person, raise it by 10% and let's see if that sounds better. And at least give you some level to adjust someone who's very quiet or someone who's very loud.
Mm-hmm. So, David, on your little screen where you were showing us that thing, if you had gone down another half an inch, there is in fact a thing to automatically adjust your volume. And if you are in a meeting with a whole bunch of people and nobody knows anything, you can ask them all to turn that on, and Zoom will take care of a lot of problems. Now, most people don't like to do that because then you don't know what your level is, and you go to the next meeting and who knows what's going on. But that is an interesting button. We've talked about that before here.
Right. And I'll just say that and I'll acknowledge that I'm an outlier here, but none of this stuff that you're talking about, Lois, works for me in my setup. I physically cannot turn this on. I physically cannot control my volume because of the type of microphone that I'm using. So if you're not using a very simple USB mic, oftentimes you don't have these tools available to you. Now, again, once you're there, if you're once you're using outboard equipment, it's a whole different level. But I think again, it's really just if you know what it makes me think of, if I feel like a little bit like right now we are driving, we're on a road, and some cars are Tesla full auto drive, and others are driven by human beings, and that really doesn't work well. Like if everything was full auto drive, that would probably be pretty safe. If everything was driven by humans, then, well, I mean, which it mostly is still, then but as soon as you try and merge the two, that's where you run into problems. And that's sort of what I feel is happening here, is that we've got a very few people who are driving manual cars and really want to have all that detailed control. And then we've got a bunch of other people that are relying on auto drive. And that just doesn't always work well together sometimes, I think. I don't know. Frank, go ahead.
I agree with you. Have you ever used Google Meet?
Yeah, a
So
couple
I
times.
go on Google Meet and I'm so frustrated. There's nothing I can control. For other people, it's their favorite product because there's nothing they have to know.
Yeah.
How do you as a company embrace both of those situations at the same time?
And you've got the manual folks, you've got the Teslas, and then there's a lot of people on the bus. They don't know. They're just doing whatever it is when it turns on.
Right. They don't even know how to get to settings. You're absolutely right.
They don't know that option exists, and they wouldn't know what it meant.
Yeah, you know, my wife was one of those people, and last week she had to do earlier this week she had to do conferences, and so I come in and I turn the camera on for her, and I put the mic in the right place, and I press go, and then so she can just sit there and do her thing. Because not only does she not know, she has no interest in knowing,
Right.
which is, as you correctly say, 99% of Zoom users. But what we're talking about here, and the reason why I'm particularly asking, would love to see this, is that there are lots of people who are teaching classes or who are corporate leads and are holding meetings, and it really does matter. Or they're applying for jobs, and it really does matter how they show up, and and that the hosts or the production people have ways to make them look their best. And so that's those are the folks. I'm not talking about my wife who just hops in a call every once in a while.
Most of those people would already have, like, we already have ways to do that as professionals where I wouldn't rely on Zoom. I would do it outside of Zoom and then bring the audio into Zoom. And
That only works though if you have that person, if you're physically with that person. If someone's coming in remotely,
look at people like Alex who send a kit. You know, they mail a kit, they
Sure.
have a producer meet them a week ahead of time, they test their setup, then the meeting starts an hour before the real meeting because they dial in their audio before the show even starts. Like,
no, you're right.
it's about professional approaches, but your way, like if Zoom actually embraced what you said, they would have to make an audio mixer. You'd have to have another window open where you could see any participant's audio and sort of like spotlight it in the mixer and then ride gain on it and do things like.
But interestingly, I think behind the scenes they probably already do. I mean,
Well, they are doing
are
that.
mixing all the audio,
They are
and they
doing
are
all that.
leveling all the audio also.
Sure. What you're saying though is you'd like to
Expose that.
you'd like to be in charge of that too.
Right, right.
He wants to be in charge of everything.
Well, no, I think there could be value for some pro users in exposing those tools. That's all.
I think Zoom could make a meeting add-on or a webinar add-on that would do that, and they would charge professional prices for that. They would say, okay, that's $30 a month or something.
Yep.
Because if you're the person who needs that, then you probably can afford that.
Do you know if in is it meeting director? What's it called again? I'm sorry, the producer.
Smart meeting.
No, not that.
Intelligent
Just
meeting.
the events.
Oh, okay.
Broadcast studio. Sorry, or production studio, whatever they call it.
Production studio.
Production
It's not
studio. I'm
production
sorry.
studio. There's
Does
no
that
audio
have?
adjustment.
Does
No.
that have any of this audio? It has a lot of video stuff. Does it have any of the audio stuff?
It doesn't have anything video that you can adjust somebody's video. You
Oh,
get
no, it's just
their
at different
video
scenes
and
you
you
can
get your audio. Yeah.
Okay. So garbage in, garbage out. It's just what you get is what you get.
I mean, they've got some smart features in there that if your video goes out, it will pull you out of, 4-up view and change it to a
Right.
3-up view and that sort of stuff. But there's nothing I can do to go, David's looking kind of red. I want to tweak down the color a little bit, and he's kind of hot. I want to bring none of that.
Gotcha.
But the only audio control, David, that you have in production studio is you can control the video playback audio. So
Yes.
it'd be equivalent to
It's
how
playing
you
a video.
control video playback audio for a share. It's no different.
But
You
are
can
there
actually go
meters?
into the player. No,
No.
again, it's based on percentage.
Yeah. So I mean, so you're just hearing it with your ear and deciding that sounds relatively
here's my
comparable to
meters
the
right
rest of.
here.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
But I mean, as a
Yeah.
professional who's done mixed audio for 30 years, if we're going to go that far, then let's have a little audio meter that shows me relative to everything else that's going on.
Yeah, what I've purposely done in when we close out the show, I always purposely make sure that in the video player, I'm at 25, and that's representing between 25 and 100. And the reason I stay at 25 is because of Hasmith's meters to make sure I'm not
I
being.
think some of us are always going to want more, you know.
It's
Some of
it's
us,
Black Friday. I figured I'd come and ask for stuff. I'm
yeah.
going shopping. So,
I imagine Zoom has some kind of skunk work somewhere, and they have all of these things and have tried them, and
yeah,
also probably have had focus groups try them and go, the average user can't deal with this.
right. And Robert from YouTube, I see you, Lois. Give me one second. I just want to bring in Robert from. Hi, Robert. By the way, is talking about the Zoom Lite, where there's little or no settings, which is the truth is Zoom Lite is Zoom today because if you want to find these things, just you never find them, especially if you're on a mobile device, which I would argue the vast majority of people are. It's not easy to find all these settings. So there's your Zoom Lite. Go ahead, Lois.
Okay, so uh, Roland, what I was asking for was to figure out how to have one person with a high voice and one person with low voice and end up with an audio that was good and level. And Robert has solved the entire problem. We just did that test where we did that here, and then I was going to take it to the letter. And Robert says, "Well, just make a recording of the thing and take the merged one and put it through the levelator and see what it comes out like." So I didn't need to do all this extra stuff. I just needed to have a recording of something, and I do. So thank you very much.
So are you putting it through the levelator? I want to know the results.
Not right now. I'll do it some
No.
other time.
Okay.
But yeah, next week I'll probably be able to report back.
I'd be curious to know about that. What else?
I want to go back, if you don't mind, just a little bit to the conversation David and Frank were having, and it's all very true and very on point. And if you've got somebody remote that's coming into a webinar and you want them to look professional, I can hire a producer out there. I can ship them a box and that sort of stuff. Except that most of the organizations I work with don't have the budget for that. And so, what I'm always very careful to ask about is there a way for us to simply be able to adjust one person's volume? And I'll have my other computer over here logged in as an attendee, and I can put this headset on for a little bit and go, that's not loud enough. And is there a way to do some sort of fine adjustment that's normally turned off and most people can't do it? And I want to enhance their experience too, but I'm not willing to pay $5,000 for one person to fly out and get equipment and all that kind of stuff and do it. So
Ray, is that what ISO is for? Zoom ISO? I mean, when you grab the isolated feeds, the audio feeds, the pro audio from Zoom ISO,
yeah,
can't we do it there? Now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, we don't have that function. That's not something that they carried over into Ecamm for Zoom. So when in Ecamm for Zoom, all I get is is all the muxed audio from Zoom. But let me open
Yeah,
up Zoom.
let me jump in. I can't be on camera for a moment, but Mimo Live has the ISOs and has the individual audio control, I believe. Unless I'm in a beta version, but anyway, that's a way of getting the isolation. Zoom ISO gives you separate audio and video.
So Frank will have an answer for us too, but my answer is I'm not using Zoom ISO, and I know, if I just buy a Mac and do all that sort of stuff and make my life considerably more complex as a single producer that normally does, I'm the only production guy there. And then I could have all sorts of bells and whistles that I want to do. But there are some times where, I just want to do one or two things, and I don't want it to be very complex. I don't really want it. And we talked a number of times also too here about, we do like the Zoom Lite. We want the out of the box, switch that says I don't want any of these special controls. I just want to get on a Zoom meeting and get off a Zoom meeting and get on with my day. And then, yeah, there's a series of us that want to be able to do a little more. There's a series of us that then wants to be able to take my companion interface and my ATEM and my Zoom ISO and all that sort of stuff. And how many people do you have available and that sort of stuff. So there's a continuum there, and I'm not quite in the Zoom Lite version, but I'm not very far up the ladder.
So, yeah. So take a look at this. I hear you on that. I think that if I have read Andy and his team in the past, sorry, Frank, do you mind if I just throw this in real quick?
Do your thing, man.
If I've read them correctly, then what they would say is we do have these tools. They're just not in vanilla Zoom. And for Mac folks, they are in the liminal apps, and for Windows folks, they're in Zoom Rooms. So this is Zoom ISO that I pulled up here, and so basically I can get, this is the advanced audio channel, so I can get either the individual output from each participant. I can change I can reduce at least the gain. It doesn't look like I can increase the gain. And I have individual meters for each individual person. So now that I've been kvetching that I don't have this in Zoom, turns out I do have this in Zoom. It's just over in Zoom ISO. I don't think this is in Zoom OSC. Let me open that up. Because that actually, no. So you don't have the audio stuff over in Zoom OSC because it's not actually grabbing the individual feeds. In any case, go ahead, Frank.
So let me put my hand down. Zoom ISO and all those things are great. All hail Andy and the rest of the team. Just in Zoom and vanilla Zoom, if you're using the desktop client, if you go into your account and turn this on, there's the remote settings control app, which is very much like the far end camera control app, except it allows you to adjust somebody else's sound, and they have to grant you privileges. If they have a horrible setup where their microphone's 4 feet away from their mouth, how much can you do with that? But if they have an okay setup, reasonable, then you can turn up their gain. You can do things. So it is built in if you want to use it.
So let's just remind folks how to get there. So this is called the remote settings control app. Yeah.
I'm putting the link in the chat right now.
Yeah, I've got it also. So
there you go.
So you have to go to the Zoom app marketplace. Let me pull up the apps.
Doesn't cost anything. It's made by Zoom.
Yep. And it's called, sorry, I'm just looking at remote settings control app. Remote settings control app. There it is. Okay.
There's probably requirements that they're on a reasonably up-to-date version and a few other things of that nature, right?
Right. So here is, if you search for remote settings control, this is the app. And Mike, sorry, Mike is not on camera right now.
Do it to Ray. He's the one who wants to fix his audio.
Oh, Lois, you want me to do you? Okay. So I'm going to choose Lois. So what I can do is I can either invite all or I can find individual people. So I have Lois here. I'm going to send her an invite, which she got in her chat. And I believe also maybe a pop-up on her screen. And then she will hopefully open that. And now that she's done that, I can see her under remote control down here. Click a participant to view and edit settings. So if I click on her, then I can see what camera she's using. I can see what cameras are available. I can choose HD, or I can turn off hide non-video participants.
That's so cool, man.
I guess if someone, I can turn off display participant names on or off, and then I can choose her microphone, her speaker, her audio profile, and noise suppression. I still can't control volume.
I thought volume was in there. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, that would actually
I
be a
haven't
really
used it in a
nice.
long time.
Yeah, I've never used it. That would actually be a really nice thing to have in here.
The missing ingredient.
Yeah, right.
The other limitation in here is that it's only for Zoom meetings, not for Zoom webinars. So if you've got a panelist group and that sort of thing, it only apparently uses the meeting interface, not webinars.
Feature request.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah.
And do you, is there a way that you can, when you get done, you can say, okay, turn it back over to Lois and put it the way it was before I messed with it? Or is once you've messed with it, it's changed and I
Right.
have to remove it?
So if I go in, I'm just going to click a couple things, and then I've got
It's asking, by the way, it's giving a pop-up window to allow or disallow what you're doing.
it's not going to do these things on your behalf. It's going to prompt you to allow me to do them. So if I click HD video, you probably now have a prompt that says, hey, he wants to turn on. So now your video is in HD. And then up at the top here in the app, I have this sort of revert button. And if I do that, then it will, so it doesn't revert to your last settings. It reverts, it's sort of an undo button. It takes you to the last settings. So before this, I had checked both of these.
And if you keep doing undo, does it go back more
No.
than once?
No, it doesn't. So let me do this, and then I'll revert, and right, it just takes it back here. So there actually isn't a take me back to the way I had it before you messed with my machine button, at least not on my end. There isn't. I wonder if there is on your end, Lois. That's actually a really interesting question. Do these settings persist after this meet? If you join another meeting, it's an interesting question.
So there is one where you can ask people as they come into your meeting, because if I'm the host of the meeting or I made the meeting, you can ask them, do I have your permission to mute and unmute you? And if they say yes, then I always have that permission at any
that's not
meeting
true.
that they come into.
That's not true.
It's
Yeah,
not?
they can
I
take
can
that
revoke
away.
that at any time.
Yeah.
You can revoke that, but what I'm saying, it persists from meeting to meeting.
It persists if I don't revoke it.
That's right. That's right. And there's a place in your settings where you can say, show me who's got this power over me, and you can turn them on or off. But I'm wondering if this is going to persist to the next meeting.
No, I think it's session based.
Okay. All right.
Which
And
would be which makes sense. I mean, you
Yep.
want your settings to go back to the way you had them, presumably.
Oh, but this doesn't say it's going to put them back. It just says he can't get control anymore. I also have a revoke button up here.
This reminds me a lot of RDP. It's just like a little sliver of your computer that you're asking someone to allow control of. But I mean, you could do an RDP session, but that seems cumbersome if you've got 25 panelists and you don't know which one's going to have a problem. You have to initiate an RDP session with 25 different people. Like, at least this is built in. I think Zoom just needs to add a little more functionality to this. The last few ingredients would be control the volume, right?
Yeah.
And maybe
Hey,
and some meters.
Frank, what's RDP?
Remote desktop protocol. It's when you control a computer from over
Which
the
is also built into Zoom. I mean, you can do that from screen share.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That another thing that would be nice in here is Lois. Can I do it one more time just so that I can
go ahead.
Thank you. There is also this original sound for all at the bottom here, but another thing that would be nice, and they just haven't. I don't know if they're still updating this or not, but the new. Sorry, let me bring this over. The thing that I had a problem with at the beginning of the meeting, these tools here, touch up my appearance, just for low light, portrait lighting, and auto framing, being able to control these it seems like since they've done a pretty significant update to some of this stuff, that hasn't all made it over here, and I would like the auto framing. That would be nice to be able to toggle that on or off here.
When Andy was here, when we first got this announced, Andy said, look, the goal is to keep this updated and add some more functionality to it. And there might be one or two other checkboxes added to it, but I haven't really seen what I would consider, keeping up with the changes in Zoom.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Go
And there
ahead,
might
John.
be a functional or a technical reason that you can't control it remotely.
Right.
But gee, it would be nice for some of these to have some ability. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, John.
And Robert,
No, go on, Lois. You can say.
Robert said something in the chat. What was that, Mike? What does the share button do in this app?
Yeah, correct.
What does the yeah, good question. So in order for this is I think generically how apps work, how Zoom apps work, and please correct me if I'm wrong about this. The way that they work is that you share the app with another person, they open it, and then that kind of creates a bidirectional link, so that either data can be shared or control can be shared or things like that. So in order for me to be able to control Lois's or anyone's Zoom settings, I have to share the app with them. They have to accept it, and then it will, I think, either, I'm not sure, Lois, if you're seeing the app on your screen in a separate window or, but
Yeah, it's a panel
yeah, so it
on the
opens the
side.
app on their device, and that's how the computers talk to each other. So that's the share there. If I click on that, it just takes me to who do I want to share this app with so that I can control their settings. And you can do individual people or you can do everyone.
So when I have, it said, want to open this app? And I said, yes. And now, does that mean that this app is, that I have gotten this app and it's now part of my milieu?
It probably means that if you click on the apps button in your Zoom meeting, that it will show up as one of your recently used
Right.
apps. But beyond that, Zoom
So
apps don't,
they
unless
don't
you're paying.
persist.
I don't think so. I mean, you
It would
can
only
set.
persist if you actually open up the apps and clicked on it to start it.
Well, I open up the apps and it's already over there on the side and it says David Paskin has remote control and the audio profile is this and that and the other.
Till this meeting's over.
Till this meeting's over. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
And you can, by the way, one nice feature that I think a lot of people may not know about is, I'm sorry, Mike, if you don't mind throwing me back up, I don't have those controls, is you can have certain apps open automatically when you join a meeting. So if, for example, if you know that you're always going to be live streaming, or if you know that you always want to be, if your job is to set people up for a show and you always want to be able to have this remote app open, you can go into your settings under meetings and webinars, go to open selected Zoom apps. You can choose all of the apps that you want to automatically open, and they will just, boom, as soon as you start a meeting, they will open.
And if you look on the right where that column is, where it says apps, it's got my name on it. Further to the right, there you go. If you go up to the top and find those three dots, right there you can also say auto open this app.
Oh, look at that. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So this is a nice little hidden, I find it to be a nice little tool. I don't actually use any of these, but it's a nice tool to have.
So David, are you done messing with my machine? Can I revoke you now?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Let me,
Here you go.
end
I've revoked
control.
it.
There we go. Okay. Fantastic. And then we should also let's just, Lois, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Well, actually, maybe I'll do it so that I can show folks the RDP that you were talking about, the remote desktop control. So
Is that another app?
no, so
It's a protocol.
Right. So if someone shares their, how does this work again? Someone shares their screen and then I can request remote control. I think that's how it works.
I'm sharing
All
my
right. So
screen.
Lois is sharing her screen. Let me, so now what I can do is I can, right. So, all right. So let me just explain how this works for people who are watching. So in the new Zoom, if you're using the single monitor mode, not dual monitor, you now have tabs. So what happened from my view is that it changed from the meeting view to her screen share. And but I now have two tabs at the top and I can toggle between the two. And each of those tabs has a 3-dot menu icon. If I click on the 3 dots, one of the options I have is request remote control, excuse me. I then get a pop-up that says, do you want to request remote control? I say request, and now Lois will get a pop-up, and that should give me, if she approves it, that should
And
give me, I'm
And
going
the
to try.
pop-up says, a user named David Paskin is requesting remote control of your computer. If you approve, this person will be able to view and interact with your screen, install software, or change settings. You can gain control at any time by clicking on your screen. And then you have to say, I confirm that I know and trust this user and approve it. Okay, I've approved it, done. But David.
Okay. So now this is going to be difficult to see because this is in a screen share, but um,
Well, you can move the camera.
no, but maybe some people will. I want to show them my screen just so they could see what I'm seeing. So basically, I'm still seeing the screen share, but I'm now seeing her fuller desktop. Which, well, actually, maybe I was seeing this before. So I can now change.
No one can see your screen, by the way.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was.
If we pin
Yeah.
him, we can see him.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
I've
also
yeah,
multiple screen shares, so he could share his screen.
Well, no, but now you stopped screen sharing, I think,
I
didn't
didn't
you?
stop. Somebody kicked it off.
no,
All right,
I
so
didn't.
let's screen share again because we don't want to stop the screen share.
I'm still sharing. No,
Oh,
I'm not.
you are.
No, I'm not. Never mind. I'm not
Okay,
still.
no,
Whoa, what did you do to my bird? My bird's gone.
I didn't touch the bird.
Yeah, you messed with my camera.
I did. I
Yeah.
literally didn't touch anything. I'm sorry.
Well, it's not there now.
I killed the bird. Really, John?
Well, the bird. Okay, I'm not gonna share until I can find my.
All right.
Okay,
There we
now
go.
there we go. Now I'll share, and that should
But
be.
now you're sharing. So that's a camera feed. That's not a share.
Oh, so that was the problem. I had shared a camera feed, huh? So I was sharing my Zoom screen.
Well, that's fine.
Probably.
It doesn't matter what you're sharing. It's just you have
Well, the
to.
bird's not there anymore. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I think the
Never
bird
mind.
maybe just flew away. I don't.
Somebody else
There.
shares.
Okay.
Somebody
No,
else
there we go.
shares.
Now you're sharing. Now you're sharing.
No, no.
Okay.
Am I sharing?
Yes, you are.
Oh, I must be sharing my Zoom screen.
You are. So
I
now I'm going to
apologize.
request remote control again,
Oh, all right. I'll approve it
and
again.
you're approving it.
Okay.
I don't know why she said she trusts me, but so now presumably I have control over her screen and I'm not sure why. So now how do I actually control this now?
Can I change the camera
First,
so that
first
it
you have to
isn't?
click on her screen. That gives you control.
Say again?
You have to click on her
Oh,
screen, and that gives you control. Otherwise, you're sort of in the annotate mode, I think.
Using the
Ye-
mouse.
Yeah. So I'm
okay.
clicking on her screen and I'm not getting anything.
Yeah, you're
So
making little red dots.
yeah,
That's because you're annotating instead of
I need,
controlling.
I know I need to get out of
The very
annotating.
first time you clicked, David, was down in that lower left-hand corner where the annotate icon was, and that put you into annotate mode. So you're out of remote control mode.
Okay. Close. See, I'm not though in annotate
You
mode.
need
That's really
the
weird.
mouse.
Say again?
The mouse. The pointer. The mouse pointer. Instead
Oh, I
of the
see what you're
drawing
saying.
tools.
I see what you're saying. No, see, it's still.
And by the way, if I move my mouse, it moves the thing there.
Anyways, it's not like Zoom invented this. Remote desktop protocol is available in Windows, it's available in Mac, it's available on Linux, and it's also a standalone thing that many companies have made apps to do as packaged products.
Yeah, I just don't have any control, which is really interesting. I'm not sure
May
why.
I stop sharing now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
Well-
you notice that I'm moving the mouse, the cursor now. He
Well,
was.
yeah, I never had control. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
you
why.
did. Sure you did. You were moving it around and drawing stuff and everything.
No, but drawing stuff is not having control over your computer. That was just me annotating on the screen.
Zoom has two tools. One is remote settings and one is remote control. And again, Zoom vocabulary sometimes gets very over
Right. So the
complicated to
remote
remember which
settings
is
is
which.
the app that
Yeah.
we tried, and remote control is what we were just trying to do, which I
And it's
failed
usually
on.
for support sessions where you want to help somebody.
Correct.
Let's say your cousin's terrible with computers. Can you install a printer driver for me or do something like that? Instead of
Can we
talking
try-
them through it, you can actually grab
Right.
control of their mouse and their keyboard.
Mike, are you able to share do a screen share of something, or just so I can try that again? Because I want to see
Yep.
how it actually works.
1 second.
Early on, you stopped controlling, David, because I got a little message saying you have no impending invites.
I have a
So I'm not-
question about this. Is it possible to get Zoom to auto answer a call? Like a meeting request? Because if I had a computer at my office, like there's better ways to do this. But let's just say all I knew was how to do Zoom remote control. Could I launch a phone call to my Zoom computer at my office if it had its own user account and then initiate the, probably not because someone has to say yes, right?
Not only that, you can only initiate it from within an active meeting.
See, my mom used to live in a different city and I had RDP installed on her computer. And as long as the computer was on, I could log in from anywhere on the planet and update it for her and do anything. I'm just wondering.
That's true with a lot of RDP, but through Zoom,
I don't think that exists, right?
Not
it could be done. It could be done, Frank, but you would need the ultimate. They would have to accept the control because most of the API calls that request control and do funny
somebody
things,
has to say yes, right?
Somebody has to
Or
confirm
someone
it on
has
screen.
to start the meeting.
I would just use RDP.
Oh, you can start
I
a
wouldn't even
meeting.
use Zoom for this.
You can start a
then-
meeting without
Right.
without a person, Lois. I can start
I
a
know,
meeting
but
without a person.
I know, but if you started a meeting, then Frank could log into the meeting from anywhere at any time.
Yeah, but if I wanted to then to control that machine that's been started automatically, I would need a human to actually accept the request to start.
Which is very
control.
smart on Zoom's behalf, right? Like,
I agree.
Obviously, they err on the side of caution.
If you had a meeting like after hours, it goes, 23 hours a day. If someone came in and they accepted your invitation and then walked away from their computer but left it running, you could, at any time that you came back in, you could control that, right?
I mean, I would just use a real RDP client to do this. I wouldn't bother with Zoom.
I wonder if there's a timeout though. That's actually an interesting question. I wonder if it times out. Which RDP
maybe
client
if
would
he
you
leaves and
choose?
come
Frank?
backs.
Well, it depends on the platforms involved. I would use Apple Remote Desktop if it was another Mac, but there's lots of them.
Okay.
Windows has a built-in RDP
And
as well.
Chrome uses one also, right? Google has
Yeah,
one.
there's lots, and there's standalone
Chrome Remote
ones.
Desktop. Yeah. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, you wanted me to share?
Is that okay?
Yeah,
I just
I'm
want
ready.
to see if yeah, go ahead. I just want to see if I can get it to work again. All right. So again, he's sharing. I have the 3 dots. I can request remote control. Request. He got the request. Okay, so click to start the remote control of the shared screen.
Don't open the folder with 3 X's. That's just not a good idea.
Yeah, I won't do that one. So now I can go to, let's see, look at this. Oh, there we go. That was me. Okay. Right. So I'm now controlling his computer. Gotcha. Okay.
That's his X-Men collection.
Yeah. Now, but you know what?
If you press escape,
Mike,
or key escape.
So just real quick, because this all came about in the context of helping a client with their Zoom settings. Because this is another. When you started sharing, Mike, you shared. What did you share? Did you share the app? Did you share a screen?
I shared the actual PowerPoint file that you're in right now. So you're right now shared into LibreOffice right now on my machine.
Right. So what I'm wondering about is, with remote control, can I go beyond just your share? Right? Like if I were to, I'm not going to until you tell me it's okay to, but if I were to minimize this app, would I be able to see what's behind it?
If you minimize that, you should see my desktop of how everything I run one of my screens.
Are you okay if I try and minimize this app?
Yeah. There's nothing on here that,
because my question is just, again, it's you shared a specific app, and I'm curious if remote control desktop allows me to get beyond that app.
Again, Zoom has many similar terms. They also have remote support session, which I've just linked to. Just wondering if you're using the right thing.
Right. So I cannot get out of this. I can't get out of this app.
So you guys are still seeing the share. You did minimize it on my screen though.
I have a feeling the one you're using now is for controlling the desktop, like screen share, but I think remote support session is the one you use to control another computer.
And
hold on one second.
Minimize.
Real quick, I want to point out something that Mike said. Mike said you minimized it on his screen.
But not here.
We're still seeing it.
Exactly.
He shared the window.
Right.
So when you share a PowerPoint window or any window, it comes through as a share even if you cover it up with something else.
And by the way, as the person who minimized it on his screen, I'm still seeing it full screen. So I have no indication that I minimized it.
You're looking at the share.
Hold on. I have an answer. No, remote support session will disable simultaneous screen sharing.
No, but that's not what we're talking about.
Okay.
So he shared a specific app. I then went in with remote control desktop. But it was a specific window within an app, right?
Correct.
It was a presentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So PowerPoint had three windows. He shared one of those windows. You only have access to this window, not his notes window or any of the others.
Right. And when I clicked the minimize button, it minimized it on Mike's computer, but none of the rest of us, including me, saw that minimized because I only have access to what he actually shared.
Correct.
And that share is persistent regardless of what happens to it on his machine, unless he closes the app. If you were to click the X box, his share.
No, I can't. So I can't. I'm clicking it right now. But again, on his computer, I'm probably just clicking somewhere on his desktop because remember on his computer.
It's minimized. But if you were to click the X now, it would close that app and stop the share, I believe.
No, because where he is clicking, where the X is where we see is not where the X is on Mike's
on his computer. Exactly.
Okay. There are two versions of this system in Zoom.
Right. That's what Frank's been putting in the chat. Yeah.
One is this ability to go in and semi-control, and Zoom themselves traditionally use this to create a PowerPoint presentation for everything that's happening during a meeting, and then each of the employees that's doing the talk takes over control. You've got the remote control of that. You've also got remote control of the app. To do what you were talking about is something called remote support, which I think has just been shared. Remote support session will disable simultaneous screens sharing. It's a completely different beast as far as Zoom is concerned. And I believe, although I haven't read all the support notes quickly enough, I believe that you actually have to enable this and turn it on to be able to get this to work.
That's correct. It has to be on David's back end. It has to be turned on before he can use it.
So somebody can't come along and remotely control your machine unless you've got the credentials and the settings set up to allow that to work.
So if Mike, you could unminimize on your screen, you could unminimize this window, and then let's see if David can click the X.
let me know when that's done.
Go ahead, Dave. You should
Okay.
be able to see I've
Yeah,
got
yeah,
my
yeah.
other
Thank you.
camera.
That's great. All right. So I just clicked the X.
Nothing. We're still seeing it.
I don't see your mouse, David. There we go. Now click.
See it up there? Oh, now I got the X. Hold on. Before I didn't have that. There it
Yep.
goes.
It did.
Yeah.
Screen share. Yep.
Yeah, you actually killed it.
So
Okay,
he
so
closed,
but that was
the
fascinating.
window, and the
Right.
window was what was being shared. Now, if he had been sharing his whole computer, then closing that window shouldn't
Right.
have killed the share.
But that was fascinating because Ray, you are exactly right. But because I had minimized it, but I couldn't see that it was minimized, I couldn't click on the X to do what you were saying it was going to do.
Yeah, because
Interesting.
Zoom
Yeah.
left the
Yeah.
last thing that it saw on the screen.
Right. All right. So now I'm curious, where is the support? Where's the
And David, I just put into chat what I actually saw.
okay.
The share
Yeah.
screen sharing has stopped as the shared window is closed.
Right. Okay.
The extract of the notes and how to change it is just being put in the chat as well.
To use remote support session, click support in your meeting controls. If it's part of your meeting controls.
In your meeting controls.
You have to have it.
So someone else has to request it.
You have to have it configured on your back end as part of your account.
Well, I think I have everything configured on the back end.
Sure. Cool.
Yeah. Does anyone see support?
Then you click on request desktop control to prompt the remote user to share their desktop. After the request is made, the remote participant will see the following. David's asking permission to remotely control your computer. They have to grant permission. If they have multiple screens, you have to pick which screen. Once the desktop is selected, the host will have remote control of the participant desktop. And then request application control to prompt the remote user to share a specific application. After the request is made, the remote end will see the following request, which is, can he control your application? Yes or no?
Oh, wait. It was not turned on. Okay. So take a look here for a moment. So
Are you spotlighted?
I don't know. I don't have my usual
Thank
screen,
you.
so I can't keep track. So I went
Sorry,
into.
I was still rearranging after the share.
Yeah, sorry. So I went into my settings for my user settings. This is not on the org level. And I typed in support. So meeting advanced, remote support, allow meeting host to provide one-to-one remote support to another participant. When I toggle that on, I get, by enabling the setting, the option screen sharing. Oh, this is why it was turned off. The option screen sharing multiple participants can share simultaneously will be disabled. The enabled allow multiple content sharing setting for Zoom rooms will not work as well. That's why I had it turned off, because I remember we were playing with multiple screen shares. So that's why. Now it probably won't work in this meeting because this may
Because
be
you
one
probably
of
have
those
to
things.
end the meeting and start over for the impact ring.
But I mean, I don't know if anyone sees it. I doubt you will, but that's what that is.
Hey,
And
David,
that's why I didn't have it on.
do you suppose you could move your head to the other side of the window so we could see the rest of the stuff?
Sorry. Oh, wait, my button didn't turn my big fat head off. Wait a second. I have a big fat head button and it didn't work. Hold on a second. Camera A, there we go.
It's all the turkey. You're still groggy from turkey.
I don't even eat turkey.
Okay. We slipped some tryptophan in your coffee.
I'm a tofurkey kind of guy. There you go. So there you go. I'll leave that on so that next time if we want to play with that, we can. But that was a fun
Again, I think Zoom's vocabulary often leads to confusion because they have so many similar sounding things that are slightly different.
Mm-hmm. Where is... I'm trying to open my... There it is, my Zoom participants window. Okay. fun. So I'm not entirely sure what the so the remote desktop share is convenient if you wanted maybe someone to control your slide presentation or something, right? But even then, there's such lag. I would use like one of those other third-party tools, to be honest with you. And you have to finding the, I guess you could use the forward and back arrows on your keyboard. I don't know. It's that to me is not the most elegant way to do that work, but for real support work, you want to use that back end piece.
So for a slideshow, I think that I stumbled upon the best thing ever is you have Tamara come into your meeting and run the slides for you.
Right, but the question we're asking is how
I
does she
know.
control the slides?
Oh, it's on her screen.
Oh,
Instead of
right,
her
so there you
face, you just see the slides.
Yeah.
One of the things I do as a partner is I occasionally go to the monthly partner meetings where they cover all of the things that are coming up new in Zoom in the next month, and they cover some of those things that you can't talk about till they actually come out. But that's how they do it. Is they have a product specialist, come through, and there's one slide deck. All the stuff is in one slide deck, and one person sharing, and they use that remote screen share participant thing, and each person just takes control, and they know they have to click it and wait a second or go ahead and start to talk, but they know that the screen will take an extra second or two to come up. Works fine.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
So when I'm doing the church, the house of worship PowerPoint, I use one computer that's connected to my ATEM, and I will, on the monitor that I'm looking at, it has all of the information about the PowerPoint, all the other slides and all the other information. But what goes into the ATEM is the actual slide with nothing else but what I want the congregation to see. And then I use my keyboard to advance the slide. That is not a way in which this could be done. In terms of the conversation that you guys are having.
Are both of your machines in the Zoom meeting, or is the
both of the
on the
both of the
side?
machines? Yes, and so what I do is, so like Tony Mobley, you're looking at Tony Mobley right now.
Right.
The entire slide that the congregation sees is me. And
so do
I
you
advance
have
it,
two,
but
are you
but
in
instead,
twice?
No,
Okay,
I'm not in
then the
twice.
answer is no.
Yes, well, let me say this. Yes, I'm in the meeting twice, but what they're seeing is only the Tony Mobley square. And I advance it, but in the service, when we are using the slides, I spotlight me so that the slide that's in my box is taking up the entire virtual space.
So
that would not, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So the only way I think that what we were talking about would be effective is if you had a second square that was, Tony's machine 2 or whatever it was, and someone could control that second machine. If you're only in the meeting as you, not as a second machine, then I don't think it's going to work because it's going through your ATEM.
The other distinguishing thing, Tony,
if I can just say this, the machine that has the slide is another Mac computer, but what you're seeing me on now is a different computer.
But so the other computers not here.
Both machines are in. I have 3 machines actually in the meeting, but for this purpose, I'm just talking about the 2.
I only see one of you. What's the other one called?
Oh, it's not in this meeting. I'm talking about when we're doing house of worship.
And so in the other in the House of Worship meeting, there's a Tony Mobley, and what's the other square called?
So there's the church name recording, then there's the church name monitor, and these are three different computers.
And they're all in the same Zoom meeting.
They're all in the same Zoom meeting.
So if the machine that is managing your slides is in the Zoom meeting, then what we were talking about is a possibility. But if it's not, then it wouldn't work.
Tony, there's a distinction that's important here that I think maybe we're not catching, and that is we are talking about a share screen, not a take the slides and stick them in your personal video block.
Yeah.
That screen share is the point where someone else can come in and control your screen share. But if someone were to just spotlight my video and it happened to have my PowerPoint slides, there's no way for anybody to affect that screen in there. That's a separate window that nobody has any control over.
Mm-hmm.
Tony, you look
So-
confused. Explain.
If you wanted to control those slides from the other computer that you were in, if instead of running it through the ATEM and bringing that ATEM in as your video, you were to screen share the actual window, you could do that sharing and kind of remotely from one computer change the slides on the other. But I think you're already there able to connect, with your fingers to the keyboard and change the slides. It's probably a level of technical, probably
I-
don't want to.
Yeah, I have a
I think your
separate keyboard that I'm
ATEM
using.
fixed the problem. I don't think you need to deal with this, what we were talking about at all, because you've got an ATEM.
Tony, yeah, what's still confusing you about it? Because you are bringing in, so you're bringing in yourself, you're bringing in the ATEM, and what's the third one that you're bringing into the normally?
The ATEM isn't in the meeting.
The like I'm using ATEM right now, but
Right.
I'm not sure. Am I in? I'm not in the Zoom meeting yet. No, I'm not in. So normally, when I'm doing house of worship, I have the computer that I'm on right now. I have a MacBook that's also in the meeting, and I have another MacBook, another Mac Mini. So there's two Mac Minis and a Mac laptop that are in the house of worship meetings. And so one of the problems, initially, the way I started doing it this way was because when I would do the screen share, it would take over the monitors that I was using, and I could not see. I could see the slideshow, and I could use I could advance the slideshow, but I couldn't see what was going on in the meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
so I ended up, after a while, getting to this solution that I'm using now.
I
And
think
so,
that solution is better than anything else that I've heard.
Yeah, Tony, here's now again, I still don't know the purpose of the third connection from you, but I'm hearing that you want to be on camera. I'm hearing now, is that the ATEM or not? Because that's confusing me. And then what is the second connection doing? And then what is the third connection doing?
no,
Because in the ATEM, you
So-
could bring in any additional machine like I've been doing, normally here, even my, the video that's playing around me is coming from a different computer into the ATEM. So
one of the computers, Mike, is the MacBook really is there just to do the recording. And then the other Mac Mini, primarily why it's used every Sunday, is that I bring in music with it. And then I don't run the slides every Sunday, but when there's an emergency and a person who is the primary person that does the slides all the time, when I have to fill in for her, then I will put the slides on either the laptop or one of the Mac Minis, not the one that I'm using right now, but one of those other two devices. And I will do spotlight on the window in which you see right now, because this is the ATEM. This is the ATEM that I'm on, that you're seeing me on right now. And so I was a little bit confused in terms of why you guys kept talking about the screen sharing, because the screen share wasn't working for me. So that's why I started doing it. I would put it on another computer and then use the ATEM to bring that into the meeting, and then I would spotlight that device so that I could see what was going on in the meeting.
Yeah. Go ahead, Frank.
Couple of things. You record locally, right?
Yes.
So one machine is a hyperdeck mic. It's just a recording platform because he
Right.
doesn't want to record to the cloud.
Right.
Screen sharing can mean slides, but it doesn't have to mean slides.
Okay.
Just terminology.
Right. So Tony, again, so I think what you're doing is good, because, and I think what we are doing by showing what David was showing just before he left, him sharing my screen and controlling my PowerPoint, was more of a situation where the PowerPoint is remote and you do not have the physical copy locally to you. Right. So that's important.
That's one reason. It's not the only reason. Some people can't present and they get confused if they have to present and advance their slides. They get their executive assistant or somebody, can you advance my slides so I can just present? I've been in lots of meetings like that, even in physical meetings where someone comes up to the desk and advances the slide while the other person gives their presentation.
Right. Okay. So Tony, what's the situation with you then? Is that what Frank is talking about, or is it more different?
Well, for us, it's either I'm doing the slides or the other person is doing the slides. We're not trying to control somebody else's devices. Now, because I use Parsec for conversation with Tony Mobley, I could, I guess theoretically, connect with somebody else's computer and then advance the slides by
Definitely.
controlling their computer.
Parsecs is an awesome piece of software for remote desktop sessions.
So,
yeah. And again, you would have full access instead of David just having access to what I shared. You now have physical full access to the person's.
So
because-
what Zoom's trying to do is basically give you a little bit of everything without having to buy extra software or do other things. So if you want to advance somebody else's slide in the Zoom meeting, that's possible. If you want to control somebody else's screen share, that's possible. If you want to control somebody else's computer for remote support, that also is possible, but all of those things are slightly different. And the thing that Zoom's giving you is it's not giving you something as powerful as Parsec, but it's giving you most of what Parsec can do built into Zoom. So you don't have to buy something else.
all right. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
So it sounds like, Tony, what you're doing is good. I do like the fact when you actually do spotlight, the person and the slide, especially for YouTube, that is definitely useful in that regards too. Because again, this was confusing everybody a little bit on YouTube when David was doing the share with Lois, is that of course David ended up on the top little box in the top right on YouTube, right? Where in the regards of you're spotlighting a video, now you could actually be side by side on YouTube. So it definitely way that you're doing the slide beside the person without, again, if you go into production studio, this would be a totally different ball game. And you should check out what John and I have done on the live lounge, where I've had John in his own box beside a slide, and it's quite different. And it's a lot more production looking in production studio. But again, even for the simplest of having a spotlight and a spotlight beside each other, where the spotlight on one side is the slide and the spotlight on the other side is the person talking that is actually talking about the slides. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Of course. All right. Our YouTube Zoom test kitchen people. Hello, Lois. Oh, take care, Lois. Have a good week. All right. And everybody in the Zoom test kitchen community on YouTube, if you have any questions for Frank, Tony, Mr. John Drinkwater, the developer, and Hershey Bar. Hello, Hershey Bar. How are you doing there, sir? And Mr. Idelson's here too. And Mr. Roland Booth from the friends from our friends in Jamaica that we're keeping close to us through their devastation is also joining us here as well. So if you have any questions related to us, let us know in chat.
I feel like this is one of those episodes where there's no big Zoom announcements, so we're just talking about interesting things about Zoom, but there's no real focus.
Yeah. And again, today was a Black Friday day. So if anybody, as I mentioned in YouTube chat, if you do want to do want to tell us what was on your Black Friday shopping list for either your productions or not, by all means, let us know in chat. Go ahead, Mr. Drinkwater. As he gets his headset on. Here we go.
Oh my God, TikTok.
Oh my God, TikTok.
TikTok
What did it do
shop.
now?
The TikTok shop was really pushing it here in the UK. I don't know what it's like in the US, but a lot of brands appeared on TikTok. Consumer type brands. And other brands like TV brands like Hisense and TCL weren't on, but they were completely being represented by other TikTok sellers. And the one thing I did notice, which is why I sort of suggest this might have a Zoom relation, is the price crash on 65-inch 4K HD TVs. Complete price crash. We're talking under $500. And for those people who want big screens for their presentations and for their Zoom rooms, I saw 85-inch for £1,100. So that's what, $1,300. So there's been a big price drop this year now in those larger screens, and I would think people would probably be better off buying 3 65-inch TVs and just putting them up on a wall side by side, and then getting some software to merge the three together. Video walls and things like that could be really big next year now, because the fundamental cost of producing 65-inch screens is just gone through the floor. But keep me away from TikTok, because I just keep wanting to buy all these fudge things, which I know will just kill me with my diabetes, but they do look tasty on TikTok.
I'm sure there were lots of deals on DDR5.
DDR5 RAM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I did see a few.
the price of RAM is ridiculous right now.
Yes, Lois. Welcome back.
I had to come back. I had to tell you that, I was complaining because those of us who are already getting Zoom aren't getting a discount. It's not true. When I went back and closed this meeting and got out of it, suddenly there were all these ads about on Zoom, you can get all these discounts for any upgrade you want. So if you're getting from something to a higher something, or you're adding on whatever, lots of
See, they
discounts.
were listening to our show and they heard your concerns and they reacted immediately.
Anyway, so
and they looked up your
continuing the
account
same
too,
as
Lois.
you are is not a discount, but any upgrades. Yep.
Very good.
Bye
Very good.
bye
So
all. Happy Thanksgiving. See you next week.
Same to you. Find us a deal
care,
on
Lois.
fudge.
Find us a what?
A deal
find us
on
a deal on
fudge.
fudge. Yes, that John was
Oh.
talking about fudge as you joined us back again.
I've got a recipe. Maybe I'll bring a recipe next time.
Very cool.
It is
Thanks,
a test
Lois.
kitchen.
That's true. We need to be testing out, all kinds of kitcheny things,
Fudgy stuff.
Yeah. Did we officially break Zoom today? We almost did. I think we almost did. We're getting close. David was doing a good job of almost breaking something. setting changed on him. So he did officially break his client at least a little bit for a few minutes anyway. Cool. All right. So what's coming up in the next few weeks for Zoom? Do we know? Anybody? Anybody?
I don't know. This time of year, I'm sure they want to give their staff some Christmas holidays or holiday time off or whatever.
True. I do know that there should be something up.
There's a December release. I know there's a December release, but how substantial, I don't know. I think it'll mostly be about webinars.
Right. Frank, there's a question for you. How often are the school using webinars versus meetings?
Not much.
Not much. Interesting.
But
I'm not going into Webinar Plus or anything like that.
That's just at my place. Some institutions use it all the time. Not every place does the same thing.
Right. Interesting. Considering how many licenses you do have. Now, again, you do have you have quite a bit of webinar licenses, I would assume.
Not that many.
No. Interesting. So the majority is meetings and that's it. For the most part. Interesting. Just know they just have no idea, don't want to use webinar, don't know that they could.
It's just a money thing.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
As you know, webinars are mostly the panel talking and the audience watching. And meetings are bi-directional where everyone can contribute. For what we do, it makes more sense for people to be able to ask a question, answer a question, not just a bunch of panelists talking and everyone else passively consuming.
Yeah, because you're definitely, of course, Frank, you being at a university is definitely a different use case than a lot of us on the Zoom Test Kitchen, in the Zoom Test Kitchen community. So
imagine if you went to a lecture where you weren't allowed to ask questions and you just sat in the audience and it was like a play. How much are you going to learn compared to if you can ask your instructor a question and get an answer and have a conversation? So for our approach, having meetings makes more sense. And you can run a Zoom meeting like a webinar. You can take everyone's ability away to unmute themselves. You can take their ability away to chat. So, I mean, if you want to lock your meeting down, it can be very similar to a webinar. You can hide video. It's not the exact same, but
right,
you can get most of the way there.
Yeah, interesting. No, I was curious because again, John and I are quite involved with, and we've seen you a couple of times on coming to Josh's Zoom events stuff. So I was just,
I like to know what's going on.
Yeah, no, but again, there's no interest at the university level, even for the events.
There are people who have licenses if they think they really need one, but usually they're not teaching, they're doing other things like recruitment or something else.
Right. Okay.
Anyone could ask for one and we'll get you one if you want to pay for it.
Right. So there's just been no demand from the different departments.
Not that much. I think if everyone would have had webinar on day one and gotten used to it, maybe, but because they didn't have it, they never grew to want it or need it. I don't know. Again, like I said, like when you go to higher education, it's not like you're going to a play and you just passively sit there and leave. You're supposed to interact. It should be dynamic, right? That's the best teaching learning model. So meetings makes more sense for that, I think.
Right. Yeah, makes total sense. It was just it was more curiosity than anything that, even I was thinking maybe even the music department or the drama department might use it for whatever.
So, not to get too deep in the weeds, anybody can buy their own license and do their own thing if they pay for it with their own departmental funds. But if they want the one that's offered to everybody, they get what they get.
Right.
If they want something else, they're welcome to set that up with Zoom independently. Or
Right.
you can order one through us, but that doesn't happen very often.
Right. Cool.
But I know lots of places that use both a lot. You have to decide what your use case is before you spend the money, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And again, your departments are given so much budget, right?
Yeah, there isn't, higher education is going through a painful time in history where funding is very low and every dollar has to be spent where maximum impact, right?
Yep. Yep. Okay. Tony, there is a question from YouTube, Tony, if you're available. Tulloch was actually asking, Tony, what is what we set up not working for you? And I guess that was more specific to your current setup, Tony. If you are still available.
We are good. There are no issues with our current setup.
He says with a strong voice.
That was pretty definitive.
And Tulloch is actually asking about PowerPoint. I'm assuming you know what he means by that.
We are good, as I said, with PowerPoint.
Okay, so Tulloch is happy. He's saying, "Oh, good." So there you go. So you got your response.
Yeah, there are no issues. There are no issues with PowerPoint. It's working extremely well. Very satisfied with the configuration that we have done, and I'll share it with the community sometime if people are interested in what was actually done.
Oh, go ahead, Frank.
I have a trivia question.
You have a trivia
5
question.
points if you can answer it without Googling or chat GPTing.
All right.
In relation to PowerPoint, what is the pickle? Oh, you should know this, Mike. Come on.
I don't know.
I don't know either. John, anything? Is it a dill pickle? What kind of pickle? No, no idea.
All right. So back in the olden days, people used to use slide carousels to display on a screen. It was sort of the beginning of PowerPoint, or conceptually almost like PowerPoint. The pickle is the slide advancer. The remote control used to be a long sort of tube with a button on top. Then it became more of a square with 2 buttons, but for years and years it was called the pickle, and even with PowerPoint it came over at the beginning of PowerPoint, and it was sort of like, the pickle's broken, can you grab a new one and plug it in? And just sort of, I don't know. Anyways.
Very cool. Very cool. I actually never knew that. I would have. I know the unit you were talking about, and I'm thinking of a slide projector. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you're right. That's
okay.
The forerunner to PowerPoint. But I think somewhere on the internet there's quite a few internet slide advance web-based ones and software-based ones. I think one of them's like the electric pickle or something like that, or it used to be. But was it Slide Anywhere, or I don't know. There's a whole bunch of slide control software, so someone on the internet can advance your slides for you. It's another protocol, and I guess Zoom said, why don't we just build it in, like give people that functionality, right?
Yeah. So what's number 2 now? That was number 1.
Oh, did I say there was 2?
I swear I heard 5, but I'm not going to hold you.
5 points. I said 5 points if you got it right.
5 points.
5 imaginary worthless internet points.
Right. Yeah, and it's got nothing to do with our ranking, which Hershey Bar is officially 3rd right now. That's good, Hershey. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there is the.
You need a ticker tape along the bottom with some sort of HTML feed that tells us from some sort of data collector.
That would be true. That
Live
I would have to
updates.
pull that
If
date. I
only
would have to,
John knew how to do stuff like that.
if only John. See, John, Mr. John is there, and Scott's got a specific question. But John, Scott, just 1 second. Hershibar actually has a question for us. Hershid, is the caption in any other language upgrade a value upgrade to you all? I think I read that properly.
Does he mean Zoom translated captions add-on? Is that what he's talking about?
I think, yeah, and he does say there is a multi-language captioning add-on.
Yeah, it's called Zoom translated captions add-on.
Yeah, you'd have to do you find that specifically valuable is what he's asking.
It obviously depends on your use case, but it's useful.
It extends the number of languages. I believe that's the main feature of it, isn't it?
Zoom again, not to pick on Zoom, they use so much similar language you really have to understand. There's Zoom captions, which you can do in all the supported languages. What gets tricky with that is you can't have 5 different people getting 5 different languages at the same time in Zoom traditional captioning. Yeah, the host can lock the captions for the language, but the last person who changes it, it'll be that language. Zoom translated captions add-on allows individuals to select the translated captions in the language they want, independently of what someone else might be asking for. I don't know if I explained that well, but
yeah, it made sense to me. Hershey, let me know if that made sense to you or not. And if you have a follow up, let me know in chat. Scott's actually got a question. He's saying it's not a specific question, but maybe there is a general topic of sorting out what settings are controlled by owner, admin, user for accounts with multiple IDs. Sometimes it's a treasure hunt, he's saying.
Ooh, that's a big question. So let's talk about roles first. The owner is the highest role in Zoom, right? And then there's admin, and then there's member or participant, whatever. And then there's custom roles. But the owner usually has the highest ability to change anything on the account. Then they can give the admin roles, which can be customized, so they can have abilities added or deleted, or you can make custom roles where, let's say, I wanted you to be able to change one particular thing for everybody on the account. So let's just understand the concept of roles first before we go to permissions. What was can you recap the question? Because I got lost in my own answer.
Of course, Frank. He was saying there is a general topic of sorting out what settings are controlled by owner, admin, and user for accounts with multiple IDs.
Not sure what he means by accounts with multiple IDs. Does he mean sub-accounts?
Okay, Scott, we would definitely want to hear back from you on that. And the other one was, he says sometimes it can be a treasure hunt to find this, I guess, find the settings.
So the way it works is there's a hierarchy. Let's say the owner or the top admin on the account, some settings the owner or admin has no control over. They're available all the time to everybody. But the ones where the owner or admin can make a choice, you can either have it on or off. You can have it on and locked or on and unlocked, or you can have it off and unlocked or off and locked. That sounds complicated, but really what you're saying is the default state should be this, but I'll let you change it. Or the default state is this, and I'll never let you change it. So user settings are subservient to account settings. So the account owner decides, this is what I'll permit, this is what I will not permit. Then the user settings can only work within those boundaries. There's a search bar at the top of the admin settings. So if you're, the thing is, sometimes it's hard to know the right vocabulary, Zoom vocabulary. But if you know the right Zoom vocabulary and you search in the search bar, you'll get to the section that's pertinent to those settings. And that's affecting the whole account. And then in your own personal user settings, depending what the host or the owner has allowed or not allowed, then you can do the same thing and adjust within the boundaries that have been pre-described. Then you get to fiddle with what's left over.
Cool. Frank, you finished? And then I'll go to Ray. Ray, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to add, Frank's right. It's kind of confusing if you don't live in that sort of environment all the time. I recommend that you go find the Zoom support article about whatever you're looking at. So let's say we're talking about recording. Do you, as the owner of the account, and you've got multiple people who are also on the account, you're the owner, they're sort of members of your group and they have user, Zoom accounts as well, and you're paying for them. If you as the admin want them to be able to record to the cloud, you can set that in the admin area. And as Frank said, you can either turn it off, but leave it unlocked. So in general, people's meetings and webinars won't be recorded, but they can set it to record or record not. But if you go look at the actual Zoom support article, typically there's 3 sections in there. You can kind of ignore the middle section. The first section is how to do this at the admin level, and they explain what happens when you set locked versus unlocked and that sort of thing there. Then there's the group level. If you've got a large organization and we want the salespeople to be able to do recording, but we don't want the accounting staff to be able to do recording, you can put them in different groups and make those settings changes in that area and have them apply to some people and not to others. But then there's down at the user level, how do I set this? And it does a pretty good job some or maybe most of the time that says, if you go here and the option is grayed out, it's because your administrative user has locked it out and you can't use it. So that is sort of a reminder, if you're not in that all the time, to go there and you get some explanation, but definitely helps if you're kind of working it to understand it.
Good job,
The
Ray.
second part of the question was about, I think, multiple account IDs or something. I'm not sure what that means, but in Zoom, you can link multiple Zoom accounts together in an organization. But generally what they do is you have a master, it's not a preferred term anymore, it should be parent-child, but there's master account or parent account and sub-account. And sub-accounts can act independently of the main account. So let's say you had 2 divisions of your company. I could still be the admin of both divisions, and I could set the Zoom up for one division one way and the other, but they're still linked together as a hierarchy. But I'm not sure if that's what they're referring to when they mean multiple IDs. I'm not sure if that's what they're talking about or something else.
Back to Frank's comment, or several comments earlier, is that the terminology is kind of screwy. We talk about account like the big account that's the organizational account, and that's what I talk about whenever I'm in the Zoom community, the organizational account. And then there's the user account. But inside most of Zoom documentation, the owner owns the account and everybody else is a login. They try in most places to refer to a user login, not necessarily a user account, but most of us end up using the same word account, and it's often difficult to understand, well, are you talking about an individual user or are you talking about the overall account? The reason that's important is if you're going to use something like scheduling privileges or assign someone to be an alt host, then they have to be on the same account, which is not use your ID. It's to have an ID underneath the same owner. And that's the real nature of the account at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point. When you're talking about Zoom, you have to be very Zoom specific in your vocabulary, because what we say in regular language doesn't necessarily work in a Zoom situation. If you say a session, that's different than maybe a meeting, which we would just say, in a regular conversation, I'm going to have a meeting. A meeting has a very specific meaning in Zoom language, but it might be a webinar, or it might be something else.
Mr. Drinkwater, how's our thesaurus coming? Have we figured out our thesaurus as of yet?
Yes, but there's still about 50 different definitions for each word because it's nothing standard about anything.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I've heard, yeah, come to my webinar, and it's a Zoom meeting.
Or
Well,
session.
Don't wanna tell you.
interesting. It reminds me of something that I heard when I was much younger, and I never have really researched the veracity of this, but apparently the Eskimos have 50 different words that mean snow. And each one has its own very distinct meaning about the type of snow, packed ice, light snow, heavy snow, I don't know. And to me, we've got the opposite. We use the word session for 140 different things, and it's just one term that's overused. We need more words in our vocabulary. That's what we need.
Or more standardization of words.
That too.
That too. A session is equal to this. And Zoom, you're not allowed to change that ever again. Oh, wait a minute.
Well,
You just
except when sessions becomes webinars plus.
Right. And a hub is a hub is a hub. Because you might have two hubs, you might have one. You might have paid for one.
And you might have two different types of hubs because you can have the yeah.
Yep. Yep. A hub that's a drive, but a hub that's a hub.
I think we should give 2 minutes silence to contemplate the concerns, worries, and the tribulations of the Zoom Docs team who have to try and make English out of all of this stuff. They work very hard to do the best they can, and we are very happy that they do their work.
Shall I throw up the happy Thanksgiving while we're doing the 2 minute silence? Guess I'm being cute. All right, there we go.
Canadian Thanksgiving or American Thanksgiving?
We might be waiting until then. You never know. It depends. We're not sure. All right, YouTube audience, if you have any more questions for us, you've got 3 official community champions, and I'm one of the new ones. And Frank as well.
I am.
One. Are you too? You are too, aren't you?
Yes,
yeah.
I am.
Oh, another one that doesn't have a shirt, guys. That's terrible.
I have a shirt. I think it's over there somewhere.
Oh, all right.
I have a whole bunch of stuff, backpacks and hats and all kinds of stuff.
All right. So take advantage of 4 community champions that you would normally have to wait for us to type in the forms for answers to talk to us live. And look at that, John, showing off his merch. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, you forgot to ask one of those, Mike, didn't you? You forgot to ask for the hat when you asked for the t-shirt.
I know. I officially have access to the store, so we'll see.
You get the Zoom underwear.
Oh, that's getting a little too personal. There you go. Yeah, we're zooming in on the underwear. All right.
Oh yeah, I've got the community boxers supporting me.
There you go. I have a backpack.
You have a backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the developers that in our developer meeting, Mr. Drinkwater, actually noticed that I had my Zoom developer cup. And I went, okay. And some of the other developers did not realize that there was such a thing. And I thought that was interesting. And they were Zoomies. I didn't know if I was special or not, but officially the other person said, oh, I noticed that because he had one. So that was good. So yes, anybody on YouTube, let us know if you have any further questions for us before we wrap it up for this week's Friday, Black Friday edition of the Zoom Test Kitchen.
Lots of dead air.
Lots of dead air. I know. I'm sorry. I'm being busy on the YouTube side too. But by all means, guys, go ahead and speak. What's coming up this week? I did notice that there was. Let me see if I can get that working. Give me two moments, and I'll pull up the release notes, but I did see something supposedly coming out December 1st. And I saw TBDs.
I think it's mostly webinar stuff. I mean, there's always stuff going on with Zoom Phone and Zoom everything else, but we mostly focus on meetings and webinars here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I am just looking at the support doc right now. As of right now, officially that will be 6.6.11. So it is a baby fix. And that will be for all flavors, which is Windows, Macs, Linux, Android, and Android Intune. And the resolved issues that are currently listed are minor bug fixes and security enhancements, which is, in my verbiage, that's very generic. So there's probably, and they haven't updated anything else specifically around that. Okay. All right. My old buddy Giles from World of Live Streaming has a question for us. Do you want to explain what a Zoom community champion is and how do you become one? There you go. I'm going to throw this one to Mr. Harwood since he's the one that introduced me to be one. Go for it, Ray.
So a Zoom community champion is a volunteer basically that spends a good amount of time in the community at community.zoom.us where anybody can go and ask questions. And typically, if you've been around there long enough and answered enough questions, they go, hey, would you like to become a champion? And then you just fill out a form, and as long as you've done something, I think, I don't know what the actual expectation is, but someone from the Zoom community in the Zoomy side makes a declaration that you are now a champion, and you get a special badge on the Zoom community. It says you are a champion, and there are champion customers like we are, those of us here. There's champion partners, so you can be sort of a business partner with Zoom and do that. And then there's Zoom community champion employees, so that some of the actual Zoom employees can volunteer to be, in the community and get that designation as well. And there's a web page somewhere that you go to. I don't know, Mike, you've done this most recently. I think
Yes.
there's just a URL that you go in and fill out some stuff and send it in.
Correct. Yeah. So I went through the process. Bree, as John and I interviewed Bree a couple of weeks ago on the Lord Zoom Live Lounge. Bree is the head of the Zoom Community Champions group, and she's actually the head of Zoom Community Forums too. Right? Correct.
Well, Alexis is really kind of the top lead, but Bree is sort of the person who then is the, I want to say, manages people within the Zoom community, primarily customers.
Right. Okay. Cool. So yeah. So the recent process that I went through was that Bree ended up sending me the documentation of where to click and such for me to join the actual community champion program. And I went through all the different documentation that she had sent me, which was to a web page where I basically filled out the information about myself and in which account am I using, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then that information went back to her team between Alexis and Bree. And I found out within a couple of days afterwards that I qualified to be a Zoom community champion. And yes, I'm still waiting for my t-shirt. Yes, I still have to go order it. So I have to still go in the shop and put in my information there. So that's where I'm at. You're welcome, Giles. That's cool. And looking forward, Giles, to us having our own personal Zoom meeting one of these days. We might reincarnate the world of live streaming. You never know. Anyone else on the YouTube that are still watching us on YouTube that would like access to Developer John or the mighty Ray, Mr. Perplexity himself, Mr. Ray, and of course, Frank and myself, let us know in chat. So did any of our Zoom champions go shopping on Zoom Shop? to buy anything during Black Friday. I don't know if they had anything on Black Friday. I'm semi joking by saying that, but I don't. They never know. They might have had some merch or something like that on Black Friday. I was curious, but I didn't look specifically, but just throwing that out there. I don't know if they did or not. Oh, I think I'm getting a no from Ray. I think Ray's checking for me. Oh,
I was going to check the website to see if they had any Black Friday deals. I don't see anything.
right. Just curious if they're so throwing some merch on Black Friday.
Oh wait! Cyber
Oh,
Week sale 11/26 to 12/2 only. Use coupon code Cyber Week 25 for 25% off. Little
there you
orange
go.
top.
Very
Oh,
cool.
well.
All right. Roland's got a quick question for us too. Okay. Who has used the Zoom graphics toolkit amongst us panelists? Mr. Ray Harwood and Mr. John have answers. Mr. Harwood, since your mic is open, go for it. You first.
Oh well, I've done some limited use with it. It's still in beta, and Andy was kind enough to go. Ray, thank you for turning in a couple of problem reports basically, and showed them a couple of things that I thought needed to be fixed. But I have used it on a couple of sessions, and what you're able to do with it, in case you don't know, you can basically have the Zoom Graphics Toolkit join your meeting, and it reads the chat, and it also reads the Q&A, and it also can determine if anyone's using the reactions, and it creates basically HTML on your machine that can show these things in a window of any size. Most of us use the normal 1920 by 1080. Um, and you can then pull that into vMix or Ecamm or those sorts of things and bring them on the screen.
Ray, were you able to play with polls? I think there was a poll function too.
I did not play with polls. There was something about polls in the configuration I was using that didn't work, and I haven't tested it with the new version that came out last week.
Cool. All right, Mr. Drinkwater, your turn. What'd you think so far?
I understand why you left me to second. It's a interesting product. I know a lot of things which I won't mention in this meeting, but I will take a quote from Andy from a long while ago, where he did say that the stuff that he does in the world of software is not supposed to be a definitive version of what's possible in Zoom. It's supposed to be there to give us something to try and then encourage others, hopefully, to come out with some other products as well. Just as we have competition in all the other things that we use around Zoom, there needs to be competition. Zero. There needs to be competition around these apps as well. And there's no reason why anyone else couldn't create a product to do similar things. And I know that's possible because I got some code that can do it. So I would like to see some other people taking this as a challenge. And I'm sure there's 100 different ways that you can make use of this data in the system. And therefore, there's plenty of room for other people to bring out apps around this. And I look forward to them doing so. Otherwise, it's just going to be two apps, mine and theirs, which I think is really poor, really. So let's see some more ideas around this, some more challenges around this, and let's see some code around this, because it's relatively easy compared to a lot of the things you can do in Zoom. It's not hard to do this within apps, and yeah, let's see some more apps around it, because Andy's got a lot on his plate, and he's not going to be able to have the the ability to keep having this updated by himself or Jonathan every 5 minutes when people start adding for new features. So let's see some other full-time developers, give them some support and bring out some useful code around this as well. That's
John,
my
one thing
Christmas challenge.
I'll add, you've done a good job of leaving out some stuff and putting in some good stuff. The other thing that's really cool about the Zoom Graphics Toolkit that to me really, Zoom OSC, Zoom ISO, and tiles. Really, if you want to do things like that, you really have to dive into the software developers kit in order to figure out what can I get out of it and what can I do with what I can get out of it and do stuff on the outside. The Zoom Graphics Toolkit actually uses the Zoom SDK, but then spawns a web page that you can actually have. You can create your own pages within that and your own controls and that sort of thing. There are certain things that are exposed already by the SDK that you can actually use the polls and the questions, the Q&A, and the chat and the reactions. I had to look at my reactions button to see what the name of the reactions button was. But the reality is you could create more stuff in there without having to go in and become a programmer knowledgeable in the SDK. As I kind of mentioned in one of the sessions that Andy had last week, is the good news is that this thing is built primarily internally off of HTML and CSS. And there's a wealth of people out there that know HTML and CSS forwards and backwards, may not know much about the Zoom SDK, so they could come into the Zoom Graphics Toolkit and develop an interface and not really have to rewrite the SDK and that sort of thing. So it's definitely, to me, worth looking at if you're like, I wish I had the ability to get something on screen. We've talked about lower thirds and popping up questions and chats and those sorts of things. I think there's probably a wealth of additional information available, and there's a custom variable capability in there so that you could actually stuff values in and get values out. And that to me is sort of the real wow factor on this. Is that not that I wouldn't want to go look at the SDK, but I got too many other things going on. But inside the Zoom Graphics Toolkit, there's a lot of place to figure out, can I do this?
Right. And I was just mentioning to Giles, who we used to, but way back in the day when Zoom was only screen scraping and there was no such thing as any of these tools whatsoever, we actually used to bring in Gallery, screen scraped for the most part. And what we ended up doing was using vMix's graphic engine to bring in any other graphics that we needed to. But now, of course, with Zoom integration, which is also built into the vMix social portion of vMix, you could bring all this information in via the vMix social. And also, again, where vMix also replaces Zoom ISO, vMix also has that capability of doing the equivalent of Zoom ISO, where you can bring in audio and video feeds independently as well. So that was for Giles. And Giles used to program, he actually has programmed in the past some vMix integrations, some vMix, shall we call them plugins, back in the day, to actually get vMix to actually be an automated television station if you wanted to be at one time. That takes us way back, Giles, right? And he says, we need to fix a time to have a meeting. Yeah. Yeah. That's for me, for him to talk to me more about how to update himself on vMix, because he's still doing vMix, but again, getting more into the Zoom meeting related stuff. Yes, Giles. Send me a note this week and we can schedule something. That'd be great. All right. Any other further questions? Take care, Ray. Have a good week.
Been good, guys. Talk to you again soon.
Got it. And on that note, Mr. Drinkwater, would you like to say anything before we wrap up this week as well? And Mr. Frank, of course, if you're still here. Oh, are you? I know you're not.
Frank appeared, waved to us, and departed.
Oh, all right. So Frank is just listening currently. Okay. Yeah. All right. Go ahead, John.
So the thing that I'm going to be working on for the next few months is conversational webinars or interactive webinars or data responsive webinars, but basically webinars that interact live. There's a lot of work going on at the moment in the background with the big CRM programs where they are extracting much more useful data thanks to all the webinar data that's now been given by Zoom. They're extracting lots more data about the intent and the interaction of customers during a webinar. Not just did they turn up, but did they turn up? How long did they stay? Did they vote in polls? Did they converse in the chat? So that you can segment those people to a higher degree rather than those that attended the webinar, those that didn't attend the webinar, those that attended the webinar but only stayed 15 minutes, those that stayed the whole time, which are quite crude in themselves because a lot of people can, and I've done it myself, attend a webinar, get distracted, go off and make a cup of tea, take a phone call, come back and the webinar's finished. Now, according to the webinar operator, I was there for the entire webinar. But according to my interaction, I wasn't there at all because I'd wandered off to make a cup of tea. So I think a lot of work next year is going to be working around that to have better data to understand how people interact with the webinars. And what I'm now looking at, and this is quite interesting because it connects, in fact, to what we've just been talking about. You can take that chat data and that poll data and you can put it on the screen and you can make it look really, really cool with all our products that we have. But what you can also do is you can take that data and put it into your CRM. So you make a better description of your user. But the third level you can use it as, you can collect that data live during the meeting. One of the conversations
Nice.
I had last week was with a few people in a mastermind that I'm in. It wasn't my mastermind, it's somebody else's mastermind, but they were talking about scoring customers, as in different actions get points, and the more points that a customer gets during their travel through the marketing funnel, you expect the more points means they are more interested in the product and they are then the people you want to target with your sales calls and your offers. And what we were talking about was how to take that principle of scoring, which people quite often do in questionnaires at the beginning of the sales process, to actually do that during the webinar. So actually put in, rather than just asking rhetorical questions and leaving it in the mind of the potential customers, to actually ask those questions and get them to put replies in the chat or to answer a poll. And then you tie that data up to those people. And maybe 3/4 of the way through the webinar, you get to the point where you want to make an offer to those people. And you now take those people because of the data they've given you, and you then choose to put them into 3 different breakout rooms. For the ones that are not really interested and you'll just entertain, or maybe you'll just, alas, let them leave. A group of people who have been interested but don't seem to be giving all the buying signals, so you just want to provide them with more information and support to encourage them that way. And then a third group of people who have given buying intentions, and you just want to put them into a Zoom room, a breakout room, and you want to get some sales guys in there and close them down and take orders. So that's my prediction for next year. And I think it's only ever been possible at this level because we have all this interaction with Zoom. We have software and APIs that can get the data out of Zoom. We've got AI which can interpret those responses. So if you get chat back, you could use AI to score people. And I think so. This is probably the first time that we can do this. And this is effectively, we're looking at building a one-to-one sales service in a one-to-many environment. If you have 50 people in a physical room and you're selling to them, you can't have personal conversations with them. If you've got a webinar and you ask the questions and you collect the data, there is a way now that you could have personal conversations with all those 50 people. So for the first time that I know, I think I can persuade people that you can get a better conversion rate in a webinar than you can seeing people face to face, because you can turn a webinar into a one-to-one event. You can't physically talk to 50 people at the same time in a physical event. And that's what gets me excited. And that's why I'm not going to retire. And I'm going to go on for another year doing all this fun stuff.
So sweet. I love it. I love it. All right. That's very cool, John. And we look forward to seeing what you've got in store for us in the coming weeks. All right. It looks like it is that time, and everybody seems to be quite quiet because they're all busy Black Friday shopping, maybe. You never know. Getting those last minute Friday deals in before midnight. Some of them might be a couple more days, so don't rush. Just double check where you're buying things from. Things might not end at midnight. So that's a little hint from me. But I think it's time for us to wrap it up and to tie this one in a bow for this week's Zoom Test Kitchen. So we will do.
Have we got an Xmas version yet?
Have we got which version, John?
We should have a Christmas version of the song.
Oh, a Christmas version.
Yeah.
We'll have to speak to the one and only Mr. Paskin to see if he has access to make that latest sumu. But very good question. Stay tuned. You never know what we're going to be running into. It's karaoke time. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen, where the magic happens. Live every Friday.
Live.
We're on air, testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and let's see what's in our tech hacks. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming with a zing. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks, we'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with these. So if your meetings lag, or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back. No
All right, big finish time.
kitchen, we've got your back.
All right, we've got your back. No wreck. Why no wreck? We still got to figure that out. Thanks everyone for joining us this week on the Zoom Test Kitchen. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to let YouTube know how much you love our content. Don't forget, we're here every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, per what you see on the screen, and 12 p.m. Pacific. And check your local listings, especially for our friends out in the UK. Right, Johnny? See everyone next week for another rendition and edition of the Zoom Test Kitchen. Take care, everyone, on YouTube.